2014 Kettleers baseball hits the air in 3,
2, 1.
Mr. Schroeder is hammered to deep right field. A long run for Lear, and he's back on it. It's out of here. We're tied at 3 on a solo shot from Casey Schroeder. First pitch swinging down the right field line. It's through for a base hit. Here comes Casey Schroeder. He will score. The Kettleers defeats the Brewster Whitecaps 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th on a walk-off base hit.
2014 Kettleers baseball lives here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with the Kettleers warm-up, here's Brendan Glasheen.
Happy July from Lowell Park. The 9-9 Kettleers take on the 8-9-1 Chatham Anglers for the third time in the 2014 season. For the first time, the Kettleers host. With Greg Mraz, I am Brendan Glasheen. Greg, the biggest scoring output of the season 2 nights ago at Doran Park in Bourne, 16 runs, 4 home runs for the Kettleers offensively. I mean, man, where did this come from? Offensively, this team has put up 6, 7, 8, 9, but 16 came out of nowhere.
Well, you have to also remember the wind that night at Doran Park was blowing out hard, and you and I were talking before the broadcast saying there could be some home runs hit here tonight. In 2013, Bourne hit no home runs at Doran Park. The Kettleers hit 4 in Austin Byler's final game, in which he went 3 for 5, scored 3 runs, and I mean, that's the type of game that gets your offense back on the right track. But the other stat I want to point to, we talked about this during the broadcast, and it happened at Wareham too. 12 two-out RBIs in the last 2 ball games. So for the Kettleers, of the 22 runs that they've scored over the last 2 games, 6 against Wareham in the 7-6 loss to the Gatemen on Sunday, and 16 against Bourne, 12 of them have come with 2 outs. That, to me, is saying something about the intestinal fortitude of these hitters being able to face adversity and come out of it with flying colors.
One of the players that has mashed the baseball with 2 outs is Logan Taylor. Taylor was not a home run victim in the other day's game against Bourne, but Taylor with 10 two-out RBIs, or rather 8 two-out RBIs of the 10 he has on the season. But tonight, we see a new face on the mound for the Kettleers. Another Texas Longhorn, Travis Duke, makes his season debut. We were talking off the air today prior to the game discussing what we may see from Duke. But, Greg, you were breaking it down for me. I mean, this kid, a reliever all year for the Longhorns, he was a shutdown guy out of the pen for Texas.
A .29 ERA, which led all Texas pitchers, but the one misnomer there is that Duke appeared in 29 games, but he only pitched 30 2/3 innings. He had a whip of .94, so he's averaging under a walk and a hit per inning pitched. He allowed only 1 earned run all season and allowed only 2 runs total. And to top it all off, he had 27 strikeouts compared to only 7 walks, so a plus 3.5 strikeout to walk ratio. But the real kicker here is this. Travis Duke is starting here today for the Kettleers in his first appearance. He's never started a game at Texas in his 2 years there.
In high school, he was 6-1 as a senior with a .56 ERA, walked 11, and struck out 71 batters. So was a starter in high school, but as you said, with the Longhorns, never started the game. Mike Roberts has him on the dish today, going up against Jordan Hillier for the Chatham Anglers. Now, based on the type of season he's had, Greg, I'm interested to see how they go about this kid, because so far so good for Hillier in his first 2 games. He's pitched 10 innings total. He's allowed just 1 earned run. 2-0, a .90 ERA, 6 strikeouts to 5 walks. He's allowed just 6 hits in those 2 starts. So he's been their go-to guy. And you mentioned the Kettleers, or rather the Anglers, since they lost the doubleheader to Katuitt back on June 16th. This ball club is 7-4-1. They're playing good baseball.
And with the exception of their loss against Harwich, that broke a streak, and you'll hear more about that on Broadcaster's Corner. The Anglers had, I believe it was 5 straight games with 10 or more hits. So this team's finally starting to pick it up. And with a guy like Jordan Hillier, who you also have to remember, he comes from a school in Kennesaw State that is a very small baseball power. They're a baseball power, but not one that a whole lot of people know about. His battery mate back at school is first-round pick and 2013 Cape League MVP Max Pentecost. But all things aside, Hillier is a guy that's going to come out. He's going to throw strikes, and the Kettleers saw the best that Bourne had to offer in Ryan Kellogg, and, well, look how that turned out.
For more on what today should be like for the Kettleers, Greg Moraz spoke with head coach Mike Roberts for the Roberts Report. It's time for the Roberts Report on the Kettleers warm-up. Standing by with Mike Roberts is Greg Moraz.
Today on the Roberts Report, Coach, at Bourne on Monday, 16 runs on 16 hits, 4 home runs. What did you see that was different in the guys' approach at the plate in comparison to the last couple of games?
You know, I can't say that from the naked eye I saw a lot of things different. The wind was blowing out, so probably helped a little bit. But I think if you've watched our club over the last 2 weeks in particular, you're seeing us get older and more mature in each person that's out there playing. And so, you know, when you add a Jackson Glines and when you add Kay at second base, you're adding maturity to your club. Those are 2 guys going into their senior year. And I think that maturation just helps everybody when you get a little bit older and you get a little more mature. So I think that's more the approach than anything. Is it's just that, you know, we're a little bit more mature club.
5 2-out RBIs versus Wareham, 7 2-out RBIs versus Bourne. What does that statistic, I know you're not a big stats guy, but 2-out RBIs, what does that mean to you in terms of guys being able to come back in adverse situations and make good things out of them?
Well, there's no doubt to win ball games you have to have 2-out RBIs. I mean, you have to. It's very difficult to win. And a lot of times you look out and you see, okay, is this the 4th out or the 5th out of the inning? Did we get somebody on via error? Did we get somebody on via walk, which allows somebody else to come to the plate? And many times in this game, you know, a lot of times when there's a 4th and 5th out in an inning, you'll end up getting more 2-out base hits. So that's pleasing to know that we're doing that. My goal is always, to be consistent from the 1st inning to the 9th inning or even into extra innings. So we'll kind of see if that trend continues.
Today's starter, Travis Duke, did not start a single game this year at Texas. He made 29 appearances, but he only threw 30 innings. How long are you expecting him to go today?
Hopefully as long as he wants to go. I have no idea. I want him out there. You know, you've got a guy who's pitched in the College World Series. I want to see how much experience he has. So we just want to throw him out there tonight. You know, if he throws 2 innings, fine. If he throws 4 innings, fine. Again, my expectations are minimal. I'm more interested right now in just kind of watching him pitch, how he pitches, what his rhythm is, can he throw strikes, and that type thing.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Good luck today.
All right, thanks.
That's head coach Mike Roberts on the Roberts Report. We'll be back with more of the Kettleers warm-up after this. See which Kettleer is heating up on today's edition of Hot Off the Kettle with Brendan Glasheen.
Now joined by Grant Kay, tonight's second baseman for the Cotuit Kettleers against the Chatham Anglers. Now, Grant, a couple of games into the season now for you since coming from Louisville. And last game against Bourne, hit a home run. What was that like, being in your first game, really getting to know everybody and having that big home run?
Yeah, it was nice to get those first couple hits out of the way, but you got to turn the page and move on, and we got another big game today.
Kettleers take on the Chatham Anglers today. This is Hot Off the Kettle. Brendan Glasheen, joined by Grant Kay. Now, this past year you hit 285 with Louisville. You drove in 35 runs. What's been the adjustment like coming over to the Cape League early on?
I'm just really trying to work on hitting good pitches, really working on strikeout to walk ratio and keeping that about even, and really just going out here and trying to play the game hard.
Now, you guys were knocked out by Texas, unfortunately, in the College World Series, but you're an Omaha, Nebraska native. What was that like going to play in your hometown and probably the biggest stage for college athletics in baseball?
Yeah, I've been dreaming about playing there since a little kid, going to all the games at Rosenblatt, even little bit later at TD Ameritrade. It was unbelievable. I had all my friends and family there supporting me. It was a good experience.
Have you talked with Colin Shaw and Travis Duke about, kind of what happened in that game, or it's just kind of all forgotten now?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a little bit. It was a good game. Even talked to Rhett Wiseman a little bit, congratulated him on the national championship. We've had a couple good games against them this year, and Vandy was a really good team. They earned it.
Now, I know it's early, but maybe what's the biggest key for you this summer? What's the number one thing you're trying to improve your game, or is it a bunch of things? What's it like? What's the approach this summer?
I'm not trying to do too much. I'm really just trying to get better 1% at a lot of different categories. Just really trying to work on a complete game, not really focus on one thing.
All right, Grant, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Grant Kay, second baseman today for the Kettleers, bats third, and he joins us for Hot Off the Kettle this week. Stay tuned for more Kettleers warm-up on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Kay finished 3 for 5 against Bourne on Monday night. A single, a home run, another single in the ninth inning. Also before today's game, our own Greg Mraz caught up with Johnny Wincott, one of the broadcasters for the Chatham Anglers, to discuss what the A's have been up to as of late. A solid record since that doubleheader loss. It's now time for Broadcaster's Corner.
Welcome into Broadcaster's Corner, where we see what's going on with the opposing team from the guys who know them best. Standing by with the Chatham broadcast team, here's Greg Mraz.
My guest on Broadcaster's Corner is Johnny Wincott, play-by-play broadcaster for the Chatham Anglers. And Johnny, the last time these two teams faced, Katuitt won both games of a 7-inning game doubleheader. That dropped Chatham to 1-5. Since then, they're 7-4-1, and a team that really looked awful early on has looked very good of late. What's changed?
Well, the roster actually has changed since that doubleheader sweep. And you said they won both games. That was an understatement. In Game 2, the Anglers only had one hit. That was off the bat of Ty Moore. So you're not going to win games when you have one hit. The roster has changed and the chemistry has changed. I mean, the guys hop right up the plane and they've meshed very well. And now they're back at 500 or just a game under.
Hillier going today for the Chatham Anglers. The battery made back at Kennesaw State of Max Pentecost, who was the 2013 Cape League MVP. What do you expect from him in terms of pitch count, pitches, scouting report, anything you got?
He's going to work quickly. He has a nice fastball. And in his last start against Bourne, that was a 10-run win at Doran Park. You guys know a thing or two about that. You guys just won 16-6 there. We won 13-3 there. That was Hillier's second start of the season. He's 2-0. He minimal walks, and if he's able to locate very well, it should be a good day here in Katuitt for Chatham.
Now the wind is blowing out today, so is this an Anglers team that likes to hit home runs? They haven't really hit a whole lot of them outside of the A.J. Murray walk-off against Hyannis. This isn't a team that really hits the ball out of the yard, but what type of offense does this John Schiffner team present to opposing pitching staffs?
Well, it really depends on the scenario during the game. Sometimes they'll play small ball, but the last time the wind was blowing out, that was at YD a week ago, a game that Chatham won 16-14, a game that featured 6 combined home runs. So if the wind can help them, I'm sure they'll take a few long balls.
Final question for you, Johnny, as we wrap up Broadcaster's Corner. One guy who's really been highlighted, he's a returning Chatham Angler, is Blake Butera. He's been spectacular defensively. He's been in the lineup pretty much every day for John Schiffner. And from a Chatham team that won the division last year, what has Butera's holdover meant for the regelling of this Chatham team?
Well, in the beginning of the season, Butera was, the leadoff man playing second base. Then he went down with a little bit of an injury, so he missed about 7 or 8 games. And manager John Schiffner was saying he's all right, but they just want to, ease things in. But even when he's on the bench, you could tell that he's, giving advice to guys and playing a whole summer here on the Cape. It's just the experience is unbelievable, and John Schiffner is one who goes with experience. His teammate at Boston College, Andrew Chin, was named the #1 starter almost solely because of his experience here in 2013. So Blake Butera is kind of spreading the knowledge to the rest of the guys.
Final follow-up question. Andrew Chin, 15th round pick of the Yankees, signing deadline coming up. What's the decision regarding that?
I haven't spoken to Andrew directly on this, but I did hear him say if he doesn't sign by July 12th, he will be here for the rest of the summer. So I guess he gets one more start, and we'll find out.
All right, Johnny, thank you so much for joining me. That's Johnny Wincott, play-by-play broadcast for the Chatham Anglers. We'll be back with more of the Kettleers warm-up.
The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association wanted to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts, It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Kentuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
It's time for Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with lineups and first pitch, here's Brendan Glasheen.
At Lowell Park with Greg Mraz, the Kettleers and Chatham Anglers for the third time in the 2014 season. The kids from the clinics leaving the field as the players set to go for the Kettleers. Warm-up pitches being tossed now by Travis Duke. Let's get you the starting 9 for the visiting Chatham Anglers. Leading off from Kennesaw State, Cal Simmons. He's at shortstop. Ty Moore from UCLA bats second. He's in left field. A.J. Murray, the third first baseman, bats third. He's from Georgia Tech. Chris Shaw from BC bats fourth. He's in right field. Another Eagle batting fifth, Blake Butera. He's at third base. Pat Mazika bats sixth. He's at the catcher position. Landon Lassiter, the DH, bats seventh. Landon Cray bats eighth. He's in center field. And finally batting ninth, Kevin Fagan of Stetson. He's at second base.
From left to right in the outfield, Colin Shaw, Jackson Glines, and Rhett Wiseman around the horn from third to first. Logan Taylor, Drew Jackson, Grant Kay, and Brendan Hendricks. Ian Rice will be catching pitches from the left-hander from Texas, number 50, Travis Duke.
The Texas Longhorn with an ERA of .29 this past year in 30 2/3 innings. Did not make one start for Texas this past year. Another new member from Texas along with Colin Shaw, who starts tonight in left field, as Greg just said. But real quick here before Cal Simmons comes to the plate, Greg, what should we expect today, at least in your eyes, from Travis Duke?
Expect fastballs. Expect him to be around the plate. He only walked 7 guys this year. And just expect him to try and pitch it an inning at a time, because basically this year he averaged an inning pitched per outing, which is a lot less than most collegiate relievers.
Cal Simmons of Kennesaw State steps in. A slight open stance with the red cleats. First pitch of today's game. A fastball, knee-high 84 from Duke at the knees. The count, no balls, 1 strike. Cal Simmons hitting .311 on the season, 15 of his first 48. Slices it to left center. It drops in, a base hit. Second pitch of the ball game falls in center field, and the Anglers have the first hit of this afternoon's contest.
Cal Simmons arrived after the last time the Kettleers played the Chatham Anglers, and so far this season there's a reason why he's the leadoff man, hitting .313. That average will up. Now 16 hits and 49 at bats, so he's the guy you want on. And
Ty Moore steps in now for the Anglers. Hits left, throws right. Lefty-lefty matchup with Duke as he throws over to Brendan Hendricks. No more Austin Byler over at first base. We said goodbye to Austin on Monday night at Doran Park. Austin decided to sign with the Washington Nationals, so Brendan Hendricks finds himself at first base for the first time in quite a while. Another check over at first. Hendricks primarily playing some left field for Coach Roberts and DH. Ty Moore started all 56 games with the Bruins. Hit .294 with 28 runs, which led the team. First pitch to him, a fastball up and in by the white lettering of the blue uniforms for Chatham. 1 ball, no strikes on Moore. Batting .321. No homers, 5 runs batted in for Chatham. 1-0 pitch, hammered to the left side. No play for Colin Shaw. It ropes foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Moore also, for the Bruins this past year, was the team's leading hitter away from Jackie Robinson Stadium. He hit 223, or 323 rather, on the road in neutral site games. Hopes to carry that over into a road affair today in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Count 1-1, a runner at first, no score early on between Chatham and Kituitt. Another check over from Duke. Third check over in this at-bat. Logan Taylor, even with the bag, down the third baseline. Hendricks holds on Cal Simmons. Duke comes to the set. Eye level. The pitch. Runners off. Throw to second base. Simmons safe. A stolen bag. A runner in scoring position with nobody out for the Anglers.
That throw really wasn't even close. Ian Rice got a good throw off. He had a good reaction time on it, but Simmons got a great jump. You can essentially say he stole on Travis Duke, and now this is a situation where Ty Moore, a guy who handles the bat pretty well, could lay one down.
Simmons, just his second stolen base this season. Takes a big lead at second base. The pitch to Moore, slice to the left. Foul into the trees to the left of the Slotnick family grandstand. New grandstands built here at Lowell Park. Time called. Now Duke wants to talk with Ian Rice. I'm sure one thing Duke is looking forward to, nothing against Ian Rice, but when Trace Perea comes up from the home run derby in Omaha, I'm sure he's looking forward to that. Trey's played for the Longhorns as a catcher this past year. Will be with Kituitt at some point at the end of the week. Runner at second, nobody out. Duke to the set, another pitch, slice to the left, into the stands, and a fan catches it. Round of applause from the Kettleer fans. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ty Moore. Cal Simmons led off the game with the base hit up the middle, stole second base. Again, Duke did not start one game this past year with the Longhorns. Again to the set, let her high, the pitch. Grounded towards second base, picked up by Kay. Double pumps, throw to first in time. 1 down. Cal Simmons over to third base with 1 out.
That's good fundamental hitting there by Ty Moore, making sure that he hit it to the opposite side of the field from where the runner Cal Simmons was going, and it's a productive out. It puts Simmons at third with A.J. Murray up, who's been one of the best hitters on the Anglers, if not the entire Eastern Division.
First pitch, a curveball on the outside corner at the knees to Murray of Georgia Tech. Against Hyannis on Sunday, hit a walk-off solo shot at Veterans Field. In his last 5 games, batting .480, 12 for 25. Pitch outside, Rice way out of his crouch to the far right. Even count, 1-1.
Duke has had a little bit of trouble getting comfortable, maybe a couple of nerves, but hard for a guy who has pitched as well as he has to get nervous because he's been in the biggest of situations.
The 1-1, half-hearted swing, check down to first base. Pat Burns, the first base umpire, says no swing. Let's give you our umpires for tonight's game. They're brought to you by Friendlies because why? Well, we want our umpires and our players and coaches as well as the broadcast team to have friendly conversations with our umpires. Following this pitch, the 2-1. Hammered to left. A long run for Shaw. Way back at the track. It's out of here. A.J. Murray picks up right where he left off after the off day. A 2-run shot. Just like that, 2-0 Anglers.
A.J. Murray, that is his 4th home run already this season. That ties Austin Byler for the league lead. And not only that, he's now driven in 16 runs with that shot. And A.J. Murray, a guy that he was a very highly touted prospect. And you look at how he played this season at Georgia Tech. 283 average, 376 OBP. He had 4 home runs to go along with 33 RBIs. And, I mean, this guy can mash, and it's just a matter of time before he gets comfortable. And get this, he's a junior. So there's a possibility that, like what happened with Mike Ford of the Kettleers last summer and Jaron Long of the Bourne Braves, he could play himself into a professional contract.
And now you mentioned Byler. Now he's got the home run lead because Byler's now inactive. Fastball misses low and away. to Chris Shaw, the big left-handed hitter of Boston College. Shaw bats .257, 2 homers, 11 runs batted in. 1-0, change up on the outside corner to the tall left-handed hitter from Lexington, Massachusetts. 1 ball, 1 strike. Duke works for the windup, the 1-1. Curveball popped up into center field. A long run for Glines. Now he slows down a bit, tracks under it, and makes the grab for out number 2.
Shaw, a guy who's really the elite of the unelite. Boston College, a baseball program that plays in one of the strongest conferences, the ACC, in college baseball, and the team has struggled. They've finished under 500 consecutive years, but he had 6 home runs this season and drove in 45. That led the Eagles in both categories.
Was a 29th round pick in 2012 by the New York Mets. First pitch fastball outside to Blake Butera, a returning Chatham Angler. Butera starts at third base tonight. 1-0 pitch, fastball, too far and inside. The count 2-0 to Butera.
Butera's father, Barry, was a Kettleer back in the late 70s and played for the Pawtucket Red Sox.
2-0. Fastball upstairs. Letter high, the count 3-0. Chatham sporting the blue jerseys, gray pants with a blue stripe going down the leg with a red trim on the white lettering. 3-0 pitch. Fastball right down the dish, outside corner to the right-handed hitting Butera. The count 3-1. Blake hitting .289 on the year, 4 homers, or no homers, 4 runs batted in. 3-1. Cut to the right side, a long run in right field for Wiseman, out of play. Drops near the chain link fence by the bullpen. Count runs full 3-2. Travis Duke just arrived with the Kettleers. A 2-0 deficit on a 2-run shot by A.J. Murray. The 3-2. Fastball hammered to the left side between third and short. A base hit. Third hit of the ball game for Chatham. Butera on with 2 down. Still 2-0 Anglers.
Murray and Butera both hit their balls on a line, and Travis Duke, for a guy who didn't allow more than 1 earned run the entire season, he's already given up 2 here in the first inning of today's ball game, and we didn't know what to expect from him, and I don't think he even knows at this point what to expect. He just doesn't look comfortable.
Fastball inside to Pat Mazika, the Stetson catcher, ahead in the count, 1-0. Mazika, 219 clip. 2 homers, 8 runs batted in for John Schiffner's Anglers. A fastball that pumps the outside corner, 1-1.
Mazika, a guy who was actually a contract player for the Kettleers at the beginning of last season, but was released very early on. He was gone after just 2 weeks.
Duke to the set, checks in over at first base with Butera. Butera has 1 stolen bag on the air. He has not been caught. .58 of 59 games played this past year at Stetson for Mazika. Change up, drops too far and inside, 2-1 to the left-handed hitter. Hit .354, which led the team. Hit 2 homers, drove in 27 runs. Walked 34 times and 206 at-bats. 2-1 pitch. Another fastball. Cut in on the hands to the left side. Taylor camps under it to the left of the third base line to end the top of the half, first inning. We'll go to the home half of the first at Lowell Park. 2-0 Chatham on a 2-run shot by A.J. Murray. Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable-Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
A.J. Murray smashed his 4th home run of this Cape League season to give the Chatham Anglers a 2-0 lead. As we head to the home half of the first, Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen bring you Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Starting 9 for your Kettleers, leading off Logan Taylor, he's at third base. Rhett Wiseman bats second, he's in right. Grant Kay bats third, he's at second base. Jackson Glines, the center fielder, bats cleanup. The shortstop, Drew Jackson, bats fifth. Colin Shaw bats sixth, he's in left. Brendan Hendricks, the first baseman, bats seventh. Jamison Fisher DHs tonight, he's batting eighth. And rounding out the order, the catcher, Ian Rice.
From left to right in the outfield tie, Landon Cray and Chris Shaw go from left to right. Around the horn from third to first, Blake Butera, Cal Simmons, Kevin Fagan, and A.J. Murray. Patrick Mazika behind the plate catching pitches from the righty from Kennesaw State, number 40, Jordan Hillier.
Hillier, a 2-0 start to the season with Chatham, a .90 ERA in 2 starts. He's pitched 10 innings total, has struck out 6, has walked 5, and allowed 6 hits. And Hillier, a right-handed pitcher, but this resume coming into today's game, Greg, strongly resembles what the Kettleers faced on Monday night at Doran Park against Ryan Kellogg. He was also 2-0, an ERA of .75 entering that start. Logan Taylor steps in, left-handed hitter from Texas A&M, shoots it towards shortstop on the ground. In the hole, a long throw for Simmons across the diamond, in time to retire Taylor on the first pitch. One away for the Anglers.
I think it's well worth noting that there was a lineup change very early, or very late in the game, I should say, that Garrett Hampson was originally supposed to play shortstop. Cal Simmons was supposed to be a third. Kevin Fagan enters at second. That shifts Blake Butera to third, and Cal Simmons to short. And, man, I'll tell you what, to start a game with a defensive play like that, that's pretty darn impressive.
Rhett Wiseman now the batter for the Kettleers. Very early in the season for Rhett. Third game of the season for him. An outside fastball on the corner for a strike. The count, no balls, 1 strike. To the national champion of Vanderbilt. 0-1 fastball chopped in the ground towards second base. Picked up by the first baseman, Murray. As he cuts off the second baseman, Fagan flips over to first. Hillier covering. 2 down quickly for Cotuit.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that call. It may have been a tie, but Pat Burns over at first base thinks that Wiseman lost out by a half a step. Obviously, we're not close enough to be able to tell, but from this vantage point, it looked as if that play was maybe closer to being safe than Pat Burns actually thought.
Grant Kay steps in. 2 pitches, 2 outs for Jordan Hillier. Already a 2-0 lead for him. And A.J. Murray, 2-run shot in the top of the first. First pitch fastball in for a strike to Kay. The count 0-1. Kay in his Kettleers debut went 3 for 6. A pair of singles and a solo home run. A 1 pitch to him. Fastball upstairs and away. Belt high. The count 1-1. Kay caught up with us today and hot off the kettle. Won a national championship in 2012 with his junior college, Iowa Western. He chops one now towards short. Simmons picks it up on the run. Throw to first in time. 4 pitches to get Jordan Hillier out of the bottom of the first inning here at Lowell Park. We'll go to the top of the second inning. 2-0 Chatham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Top of the second inning, back at Lowell Park with Greg Moraz. I'm Brendan Glasheen. A 2-0 lead for Chatham. A 2-run bomb by A.J. Murray in the top of the first has Chatham on top. Kettleers are 2-0 thus far against the Anglers. As Travis Duke returns to the bump for his second inning of work. Fastball misses low and inside. The count 1-0. Outfield straightaway defensively. Logan Taylor in on the grass at third base. The 1-0 popped into the backstop foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Landon Lassiter, a 2013 Chatham Angler as well. Hit .250, 17 for 68. Drove in 7 runs for John Schiffner's Anglers last year. The changeup drops low and outside. The count 2-1. Hit .305, a home run, and 21 RBIs at UNC. 2-1 pitch, same spot, fouled into the backstop. Evens the count, 2-2.
He's had 2 pretty darn good years collegiately. His freshman season, he hit .358 with a team-high .491 OBP. That's getting on base almost half the time you come to the plate.
Duke receives his sign from Rice. The pitch, just getting a piece. We'll do the 2-2 again.
This season was pretty good, too, with .305 average, a .415 OBP. He led all North Carolina Tar Heels with 33 walks.
Was selected by the Diamondbacks in the 2012 MLB draft. 16th round pick. Over to short, Jackson in the hole, throw across in time. Drew Jackson has had a steady glove over at short in recent games for Katuitt. He retires the first out of the top of the second.
And Jackson's bat is starting to pick up against Bourne. The other night, Drew Jackson scored 3 times. He had a solo shot, a pair of hits, including that solo shot, 2 RBIs.
Landon Cray of Seattle takes a changeup low and away. The count 1-0. 1 of 4 home runs for Katuitt in Monday night's win, 16-6 against the Bourne Braves. Drew Jackson, Grant Kay, Ian Rice, and Austin Byler. Fastball swung on and missed. As Duke goes up and in, 1 ball, 1 strike. Byler and Jackson, as well as Kay, all hit solo shots. Ian Rice, a 3-run shot. Grounded over towards first base. Hendricks picks it up with 1 hand. On the scoop, tags the bag himself. 3 unassisted, 2 quick outs after a struggling first inning for Travis Duke.
Well, the one thing he's doing now is he's keeping the ball down in the zone. He's getting ground balls, and that's what's most important when you're trying to establish yourself, is getting ground balls. You look at the difference in the way the out distribution has already settled itself. 2 flyouts and a home run in the first inning. So far, 2 groundouts.
Another Stetson Hatter at the plate. Kevin Fagan takes a changeup low and away. The count 1-0. Fagan hit .279, drove in 12 runs with Stetson in his sophomore year. Changeup, dips too low and inside to the left-handed hitter. The count 2-0. Jackson glides a couple of steps to the left of straightaway center field. Logan Taylor in on the grass. Duke into the windup, the 2-0. Fastball too far and inside. They count 3-0 now.
Fagan, a guy who has struggled so far this season, only hitting at 150, 3 hits and 20 at-bats. So he really needs to get it going if he's going to find himself on the roster for the long haul.
A dual threat player with Stetson. Fastball too far and inside. A 4-pitch walk. Duke looked to respond in this top of the second. Gets consecutive ground outs, but walks Fagan. Runner at first, 2 outs. Already 2-0 Chatham. A 2-run shot by A.J. Murray, the first baseman. 3 hits, 2 runs for Chatham. Brings up the leadoff man, Cal Simmons. The Kennesaw State Owl singled and stole second base. Came around to score on Murray's home run. Change up, low and away. Catches the outside corner. The count, no balls, 1 strike. Duke comes to the set. 1 check towards first, the pitch. 0-1, almost the same spot. A change up, too low this time. 1-1. Our first broadcast in the month of July. First game play for the Kettleers in the month of July. 1-1. Fastball grounded towards the hole between third and short. A base hit. Simmons has now reached base safely twice in as many innings. He's 2 for 2.
And 2 hard hit balls, Brendan, and both of them hit in the exact same spot in the hole between third and short. And after getting the first 2 outs easily, Travis Duke really needs to bear down and focus here against Ty Moore because you don't want a 2-out rally. The Kettleers have been getting a lot of 2-out rallies, as we said, 12 2-out RBIs in the last 2 ball games. Giving up 1, that's not nearly as fun.
First pitch to Ty Moore. A change up on the outside corner. The left-handed hitter from UCLA grounded to the second baseman, Grant Kay, in his first at-bat. First and second, 2 outs. The Anglers threatening once again. Already a 2-0 lead for Chatham. 0-1. Change up, hit right back up the middle. Caught on the ground and flipped to first by Duke. 1-3 to end the half inning. We'll go to the home half of the second at Lowell Park. 2-0 Chatham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
Welcome back to Lowell Park. A 2-0 lead for Chatham in the early innings with Greg Moraz. I'm Brendan Glasheen. 4, 5, and 6 come to the plate for Mike Roberts, Kettleers, Jackson Glines, Drew Jackson, and Colin Shaw, the expected batters. Glines, the former Brewster Whitecap, a slight open stance, batting from the left side. Takes a fastball up and away from Jordan Hillier. The count, 1 ball, no strikes. Glines, a member of the All-Big Ten second team. Junior from Michigan, takes another fastball at 89 miles per hour from Hillier. The count 2-0. Hillier, a righty from Kennesaw State, just like his shortstop Cal Simmons. Into the windup quickly, the 2-0. A fastball, gassed at the knees. 91 this time. Taken by Glines, 2-1.
Glines, a JUCO guy, played 2 years at Fresno City College before transferring to Ann Arbor.
Takes another fastball, up and away, 3-1.
Unique thing about him, he went to Yosemite High School, which is on the border of Yosemite National Park, one of the more famed national parks in the United States.
Fastball just a tad outside. Glines takes a look, heads down to first, a leadoff walk by Hillier. And the Kettleers now bring the tying run to the plate.
What's important there is that you get the leadoff man aboard, and when the leadoff man aboard reaches via the walk, as we've mentioned many times throughout the season, there's at least a 50% chance that he's going to come around and score. And Drew Jackson finally starting to get hot. What's going to be the call here? Are you going to start Glines? Are you going to hit and run? Are you going to bunt? Or are you just going to let him swing away? I'd bet on the third one.
Glines on the base paths has yet to steal a base. Has not been caught. Hillier checks in with him at first base. A 6-pitch walk to Jackson Glines. He stands at first. The batter, Drew Jackson. 2-0 lead for Chatham. A 2-run shot by first baseman A.J. Murray, the difference. First pitch fastball. Low and away. Jackson gazes at it. The count, 1-0. Drew to start the year, hitting 176. 6 for 34. A home run. 4 runs batted in. A home run on Monday night in Bourne at Doran Park. 1-0 pitch. Glines is off, a hit and run. Fastball hit out of play to the right side. Count stays 1-1. Now Glines heads back to first base.
So you show the hit and run in the 1-0 count, but do you change it up and lay down a bunt here? I don't think that that's necessarily the right play down 2-0.
Outfield straightaway, infield as well. Hillier checks in again at first base.
Although they could put the hit and run on again, because Jackson's been making good contact as of late. So if you trust him to be able to put the ball in play and trust that Hillier will throw a strike, that's a good move.
Hillier to the set at the belt. Throws over to first once more. Comes to the set. 1-1 on the way. Glines off again. Fastball up and in. Throw down to second base by Mazika. It's popped into the glove of Simmons. Off Fagan's glove. A stolen base for Glines. First of the summer. He stands at second. The count 2-1 to Jackson.
Now, with the possibility of trying to get a runner over to third with less than 2 outs, Jackson possibly could lay down a bunt. Although Coach Roberts not giving any signs over in the third base coach's box.
Sometimes the previous sign that was given is on for the entire at-bat. That's how some coaches do it. Glines leads from second. The count 2-1 to Jackson. Corners in for Chatham. Swung on and missed. A mighty swing by Jackson. Count evens up 2-2. Talk about Jackson recently for the Kettleers, swinging a better bat. He's hit .333, 4 for his last 12 in the previous 5 games. 2-2 pitch. Fastball, sky to the right side. A long run for Murray in foul ground. He camps under. He drops the ball. Jackson Glines intended to tag up from second, or at least give it a shot. The ball popped right out of Murray's glove. Kettleers catch a break, 2-2.
that could potentially be ruled an error retroactively if Jackson isn't considered out. That's one of those borderline plays. I always thought a very interesting rule about calling errors on balls that are in foul ground.
Nonetheless, the count stays 2-2 on Jackson. Jackson Glines leads from second. The pitch, fastball, shot towards the third base line, into the Kettleers dugout, foul. 2-2. Yeah, Jackson, last 10 games, hitting 167, 4 of 24. But the last 5, 4 of 12. A home run and 2 runs batted in. 2-2 pitch on the way from Hillier once again. Here it is. Fastball gets away from him. Mazika has to slide to the right, out of the batter's box. It's a full count, 3-2.
Hillier has kept the ball in the outside half, except for the one high and in pitch that Jackson Glines stole on. So I imagine Mazika is probably going to call for something on the outer half here again.
Hillier sets at the belt. The righty slings it across. Shot towards second base. Fagan picks it up. Glines over to third. Jackson retired at first, but the job done. Fundamental baseball, as you mentioned earlier. Jackson shoots it towards second. Glines over to third with less than 2 outs.
One of the epitomes of small ball is you look at the scoreboard right now. Anglers have 2 runs on 4 hits. The Kettleers have yet to get a base hit. You could score this inning without getting a base hit.
Sure, Mike Roberts takes the runs however he can. Runner at third, 1 out, 2-0 Chatham on a 2-run home run by A.J. Murray in the top of the first. The batter, Colin Shaw. The Longhorn awaits the first pitch of the at-bat, swung on and missed. Hillier gets ahead. Count 0-1. We've mentioned before, Hillier has been dominant this season, 2-0. His last start at Bourne, a victory and a 10-3 win for the Anglers. An ERA of .90. 0-1 pitch to Shaw. He squares around. The bunt laid down, but it goes foul. Glines started his trot towards home plate. 0-2.
Now, if I am a coach, I tried that once, but I tried it on the first pitch of the at-bat because more than likely you're going to get a first pitch fastball, which is what the majority of pitchers throw, and more than likely a first pitch fastball is going to be in a zone where you're going to be able to lay one down.
0-2 pitch. Fastball sliced foul again. The 0-2 comes once more. Oh, 0-2 the count. Jackson Glines at third base. Colin Shaw, the batter, has yet to face the Anglers this season offensively. Chatham trails the series to Katuitt, 2-0, 2 wins for the Kettleers in a doubleheader a few weeks ago. Another foul ball into the backstop. The Kettleers on June 16th won Game 1 4-1 and defeated Chatham 3-0 in Game 2. Game 2, a game in which the Anglers only had 1 hit the entire game. Logan Taylor hit a 2-run double in the 5th inning to break a scoreless game. Right now, the Anglers have a 2-0 lead on the Kettleers. Glines at third, 0-2 to Shaw. This time grounded down the first base line. Coach Bambanek picks it up, hands it over to the fans. Another 0-2 pitch coming from Hillier.
Hillier, though, unlike Drew Jackson, has gone in and gone out
Right.
on Shaw. Shaw looks like he can hit the inside, but both outside pitches he's had trouble dealing with.
A very protective swing with his 0-2 count. Here it is again. Fastball too far and inside. And Shaw says it hit him. Home plate umpire Matt Archiavo says it did not. Now Mike Roberts has nothing to say down the third base line. So Shaw started his trot down the first base line thinking it hit his left thigh. Not the case. It's just called the ball to count 1-2. Hillier to the set. The pitch. Swung on and missed. A high fastball outside. Shaw chased it. A big second out for Chatham. 2 down.
That's very good on-the-fly scouting by Jordan Hillier and Patrick Mazika, realizing that Shaw was making good contact with the inside pitches, but anything on the outer half of the plate, he really wasn't having anything to do with it. He sent something tailing to the outside, which Shaw had no chance to hit.
And that at bat also really nothing high as Hendricks swings on the first pitch, grounds it foul into the chain link fence behind home plate to count 0-1, because every pitch of that at bat was somewhat hittable on the lower half of the plate, inside or out to Shaw. They elevate to get the second out. Glines remains at third base, a 2-0 lead for Chatham. The batter, Brendan Hendricks, who's been red hot in his last 10. 0-1 pitch in the dirt, but now home plate umpire Matt Archiavo says it hits Hendricks on the right foot. He's awarded first base.
That's the one pitch, though, that Hillier can't seem to control. It's the sweeping slider that goes low and in. He tried a couple of them to Colin Shaw, and he wasn't able to really get anything remotely near the zone. But now you got an interesting situation. Jamison Fisher comes to the plate, and he hasn't started a game in over a week.
Fisher's last start for the Kettleers came against the Brewster Whitecaps at Stony Brook Field back on June 25th. A game in which he went 0 for 3, 3 groundouts and a walk. Fisher's average on the season, 271, 13 of 48, a first pitch fastball up and away. The count 1-0 to the Southeastern Louisiana DH/catcher. And now the catcher, Patrick Mazika, out to give the first and third signs. Jackson Glines at third. Brendan Hendricks hit by a pitch. He's at first. 2 outs. The go-ahead run at the plate. The tying run at first base. Hillier to the set. At the belt. 1-0 offering. Fastball at the knees. Outside corner to the left-handed hitting Hendricks. Rather, Jamison Fisher. Count even 1-1. Fisher with just 2 RBIs on the season, an RBI opportunity here in the bottom of the second. A long stalling pause by Hillier. Fisher asks for time. He's a player that likes to do that. Very patient in terms of his approach at the plate, but will make a pitcher work. 1-1. Fastball doesn't offer. Misses outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Going back to Hillier, keeping the ball down in the zone, 4 of the 5 outs that the Kettleers have committed have been via ground out. The other one, the strikeout of Shaw. So no flyouts thus far through an inning and 2/3.
Up over 30 pitches now. 2-1. Fastball popped up in shallow left. Simmons and Moore run for it. On the dive, caught by Moore. Goes full extension to his left in shallow left field to end the inning. The Kettleers strand 2, 1 at first and 1 at third. We'll go to the top of the third at Lowell Park. 2-0 Katuitt. Rather 2-0 Chatham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Heart of the order due up for the Anglers here against Travis Duke. A.J. Murray leads it off. He had a 2-run blast to deep left field. Back in the first inning. First pitch on the way from the lefty Duke to the right-handed hitting Murray. Is a changeup that misses low and away for ball 1.
Right now, that home run's the difference in the ball game, Greg.
Wind to the 1-0 on the way. Curveball taken at the knees for strike 1. Count even at 1-1 on Murray, who, as we mentioned before, had a walk-off solo shot in the bottom of the 12th on Sunday to beat the Hyannis Harbor Hawks at Veterans Field. 1-1 fastball misses low. Counts 2-1 on Murray.
And his production against left-handed pitching has been great, hitting .333, 16 for 42 on the year.
2-1, hit hard to right center field. Jackson Glines on his horse. He's not going to get it. It bounces up against the fence. Rounding first, chugging for second. A.J. Murray, he'll cruise in with a stand-up double. And the hot hitting bat of the first baseman from Georgia Tech continues. He's 2 for 2 with 2 extra base hits.
I mean, the home run, he pulls to left field. No shot for Colin Shaw in left field. Absolutely roped it. This time it goes the other way to right center field. A one-hopper to the fence. No shot for Jackson Glines. I mean, A.J. Murray, no question, could make a case this kid's the hottest hitter in the league right now.
Brings up Chris Shaw, lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch, fastball in the dirt for ball 1. Duke's fastball is not breaking 85 miles an hour. His changeup is coming in at 79 to 80, and his curveball is in at about 71 to 73. Fastball on the inner half, low inside corner, taken for strike 1. Shaw flew out to center field back in the first. So he's 0 for 1. The right fielder from Boston College, one of 3 Boston College Eagles on this Chatham Anglers squad. 1-1 breaking ball. Misses inside by about a foot. 2-1 the count. Duke in the stretch. Sets at the neck. Looks back at second. 2-1. Fastball on the inside corner. Called strike 2. Count even up at 2.
That's a great changeup from Travis Duke. You can just tell he's a Mike Roberts guy already because you have the confidence to give this kid a start. He hasn't started the game all year. Has executed his changeup awfully well.
2-2 on the way. Curveball, low and away. Good pick by Ian Rice. Count goes to full 3-2 on deck. Shaw's college teammate, Blake Butera. Butera's 1 for 1.
In the 2 hits by A.J. Murray, just a simple case of leaving the baseball up. Of course, it's a rude awakening to the Cape Cod Baseball League, but that's what happens when you leave the ball up.
Payoff pitch on the way. Chopped foul behind home plate. Shaw barely gets a piece of that one. The other Boston College Eagle, Andrew Chin, starting pitcher, was a returning Chatham Angler, and as you heard on Broadcaster's Corner with Johnny Wincott, if he decides not to sign, he'll be here the entire rest of the season. So that's good news for Chatham. Payoff on the way again. Curveball misses low. And the Anglers have the first 2 runners on here in the top of the 3rd. Brings up Blake Butera, the BC third baseman. 1 for 1, a hard single through the left side his first time up. As we mentioned earlier, his father Barry played with the Kettleers back in the late 70s. Righty-lefty matchup. First pitch on the way. Butera shows bunt. Taylor charges at third, but it goes foul. Count to 0-1. Taylor and Hendricks playing it on the grass. Kay and Jackson are playing deep at second and short. Jackson Glines in center field, waving his arm, trying to get a sense of what the wind is doing. He's shifted 3 steps to the left of dead center field. Butera showing bunt again. 0-1. He pulls back. take it for ball one. Count even at 1-1.
And Blake's brother, Barry, also played baseball at BC from 2007 to 2009. Drafted in the 21st round by the Houston Astros.
So baseball runs in the Butera family, that's for sure. 1-1, Blake lays a bunt down, but he fouls it off behind home plate. Count to 1-2. So John Schiffner more than likely will not put that sign on again. Taylor's still in. Just off the grass at third. Hendricks in on the grass at first, although shifted slightly towards second base. Jackson and Kay double play depth. 1-2, curveball that Butera just gets a piece of. He lunges in front of it, fouls it off to the right side. On deck, Patrick Mazika, the catcher from Stetson.
And I think one thing Travis Duke has already learned in 2+ innings of work in this league, no out is easy. Blake Butera, a returning Cape League player, he's going to battle him till the end.
1-2 offering. Curveball hit up the middle, a base hit. Rounding third, A.J. Murray glinds, fires it in. Murray holds up. Brendan Hendricks at the pitcher's mound to cut off the throw. Bases loaded, full of anglers, with nobody out here in the third. Kettleers already getting some double-barreled action. Loose in the bullpen, Mason Klotz, the right-hander, along with Reagan Bazar, another right-hander.
Yeah, Mike Roberts just came out of the pen just to give a long look down the left field line. Big spot now. Bases loaded. No runs came in on that previous hit, but Duke's got to keep the ball down.
First pitch on the way to Mazika. Fastball misses inside. 1-0 on the catcher from Stetson, who popped out to Logan Taylor in foul ground to end the top of the first. A.J. Murray at third. Chris Shaw at second. Blake Butera at first. Anglers have 2 runs on 6 hits. Kettleers still without a hit through 2 innings. 1-0 offering. Hit on the ground to Hendricks. Hendricks fires home, gets the force, and that's all. Mazika moving fast down the line. So Murray forced out at home. Everybody else moves up a base. That brings up Landon Lassiter.
It's a nice play by Hendricks to go home with it right away, especially since it's his first start at first base in quite some time. He's played a lot of left field and DH. And now Mike Roberts out. Looks like a pitching change already. Travis Duke's first game as a Kettleer could be done early.
Mason Klotz coming in. Bases loaded, 1 out. Top of the third inning, Chatham trying to strike for more. They already lead this one 2-0. Stay with us, friends. We'll be back right after this on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Bases loaded, full of anglers here in the top of the third. The new pitcher, actually, which is weird because he wasn't really warming up in the bullpen that hard, is Ashton Parrott, the two-way player from the university, or Liberty University, I should say.
6'2", 200-pound right-hander appears in his third game on the hill for Mike Roberts. An ERA of 4.50. He's 0-1 on the season. In 4 innings pitched for Parrott, he's allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned. He's walked 2 and struck out 4.
Parrott pitched a scoreless inning against the Wareham Gatemen on Sunday out in Wareham. He will be on to limit the damage. Landon Lassiter will step back to the plate, and Mike Roberts signaling more towards the bullpen as Reagan Bazar is still throwing. Mason Klotz has sat down. So Lassiter, the DH from North Carolina, stands in. He's grounded out in his only at bat. Corners are in. Kay is back towards the outfield grass at second, and Drew Jackson playing normal depth at short. So Kettleers aiming for the double play. Righty-righty matchup. Parrott sets. Delivers the first pitch. It's a breaking ball well in the dirt. Good block by Ian Rice. Count to 1-0. The Kettleers catchers have had some defensive woes in terms of blocking wild balls, but Ian Rice has really stabilized himself over the past couple of games. 1-0. Hit hard out into left center field. Jackson glides on his horse, makes the catch, tagging at third. Chris Shaw, he scores. Sacrifice fly for Landon Lassiter. 3-0 Anglers here in the third.
I think if you're the Kettleers, you take that out because that ball was hit so hard that Glines was able to make a catch on the line. A great crow hop towards third base. Knew he had no shot to get Shaw, but with 2 outs, only 1 run comes in. You hopefully get a ground ball or a strikeout here, maybe even a fly out to get yourself out of the inning.
Here's Landon Cray. First pitch fastball misses high and outside for ball 1. Cray grounded out to Brendan Hendricks unassisted back in the second. Cray attends Seattle U, home of the Redhawks. 1-0. Hit hard on a line right to Grant Kay. He flips to second for 1. Jackson tags the bag, and that will do it here in the top of the third. Anglers do get 1. They take a bases loaded opportunity, and they turn it into a run after 2.5. 3-0 Chatham here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Welcome back here to Lowell Park. 9-1-2 due up for the Kettleers here against Jordan Hillier. And this brings us time for our Kettleer trivia question of the evening. Landon Cray, who ended the last inning with a 4-6 ground out, attends Seattle U, which is home of the Redhawks. Not a notorious basketball program, but they do have a basketball alumni who is an NBA Hall of Famer. Who is it? Tweet at us at Katuitt Kettleers or send us an email at KettliersBroadcastBooth@gmail.com if you have the correct answer, and we will reveal the answer in the top of the 6th. Ian Rice steps to the plate, the catcher from Chipola College. Rice hit a blast to put the Kettleers up 5-0 in the top of the second inning in their last game against the Bourne Braves on Monday night. That ball got up in the jet stream and just kept going. And for Ian Rice, probably the hardest hit ball that he's had all season. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch on the way. Hit hard down the line. That one will give the home run a run for its money. Goes to the wall. Rice rounds first. Moore fields it in left. Fires it in. And the third inning on both sides has started with back-to-back leadoff doubles. Murray led off with a double to the right center field gap for the Chatham Anglers. And Ian Rice hits one down the line and left. He stands at second with the Kettleers' first hit of the ball game. Order turns over for Logan Taylor.
That's the third double of the season now for Ian Rice. And he's a guy with Trace Perea coming up soon, is trying to keep his spot on the roster as a backup catcher. He's doing it behind the plate and offensively.
First pitch, swing and a miss. Tailing fastball to the inside. Logan Taylor swings over it. 0-1 the count on Taylor, who grounded out to short. A nice play in the hole made by Cal Simmons to lead off the ball game for the Kettleers. Infield is back at all spots. Kevin Fagan creeping over towards second to try and keep Rice honest. Taylor shows bunt, pulls back, ball gets away from Patrick Mazika, but not far enough for Rice to advance. Count even at 1-1. On deck is Rhett Wiseman, the newly crowned national champion from Vanderbilt, a Mansfield, Massachusetts native. Hillier sets at the belt, looks back at second, delivers the 1-1. Taylor lays down a bunt right in front of Hillier, looks to third, delays the double clutch, makes the throw late. Safe at first, Logan Taylor. That won't go down as a physical error, but a mental error by Jordan Hillier puts runners at the corners with nobody out for Rhett Wiseman.
The cardinal rule for a defender in the infield is when there's supposed to be a guy covering a base, you throw to the base, and it's the fault of the guy covering if he's not there. Hillier double clutched, but Kevin Fagan was on his way to first base. That's a case where Hillier can't double clutch. He has to throw to the base the minute he gets the baseball. He hesitated because Fagan was not there yet. However, he was just a step away. That's on Hillier, not Fagan.
Brings up Rhett Wiseman, who grounded out 3-1 in his first at-bat. First pitch fastball misses outside for ball one. Wiseman this season hit .277 for the Vanderbilt Commodores. He hit .294 last season as a member of the Catuit Kettleers. He hit 4 home runs for the 2013 Kettleers squad with 25 RBIs. 1-0, fouled straight back. Count even at 1-1. Wiseman has gotten off to a slow start since coming back to the Cape League. 1 for 5 against Bourne in his second game back on Monday night. And 0 for 4, he did score after reaching on an error against Wareham on Sunday night. Wiseman sports number 8, the same number he wears at Vanderbilt. 1-1, runner going, hit to second base. Fagan flips to second for 1. On to first, double play. Run scores. So Wiseman grounds into a double play, but Ian Rice trots home from third. Kettleers on the board. It's now 3-1 Chatham.
Wiseman not credited with the RBI, but I'm sure they'll take the run however they can because Hillier's been dominant in his first 2 starts of the season with Chatham. To get a run in there, very important in the early innings. And although it wasn't a base hit or a gapper, it still got the job done.
Nobody on, 2 out for Grant Kay. First pitch on the ground. Simmons charges it short, flips across. Kay retired on 1 pitch, and that will end the third. But the Kettleers do strike for 1. Be it on a ground ball double play, it does score Ian Rice after 3. Chatham leads 3-1. You're locked into Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich. Stay with us, friends.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Top of the fourth inning here at Lowell Park. Ashton Parrott will face Kevin Fagan, Cal Simmons, and Ty Moore. I'd like to give a special shout out to former Orleans play-by-play broadcaster, a former colleague of mine, and our video production man Axel Boada at Northwestern, and current play-by-play broadcaster for the Gateway Grizzlies of the Frontier League, Sam Levitt, tuned in tonight. And Sam, who broadcasted for the Orleans Firebirds for 2 seasons, you didn't have to, but we appreciate you tuning into our game tonight.
Thank you, Sam.
First pitch on the way to Kevin Fagan, breaking ball, taken at the knees, called strike one. Fagan walked and advanced to second, back in the second. Parrott out for his first full inning of work, sets, delivers the 0-1, swing and a miss. Pulled the string on him there. Changeup. Fagan swung right through. Count to 0-2. Later on in the ballgame, friends, we'll have Trey Wingenter and Gabe Berman, who pitched in the Kettleers 16-6 win over the Bourne Braves on Monday up here in the broadcast booth. 0-2, swing and a miss. 3 pitches, 3 changeups, 3 strikes. Fagan gone swinging, 1 out.
It's a great pitch by Ashton Parrott. Goes change up 3 times, as you said, Greg. And the key with change-ups is you got to keep them low in the zone. It's one thing to throw the change-up well, but if a change-up drops with the same action it has in the top of the zone, it's like a lofting fastball.
First pitch on the way to Cal Simmons. Fastball at 93, taken on the inside part of the plate. Simmons, a switch hitter. He's now turned around for the first time today. 0-1 the count. The shortstop from Kennesaw State. 0-1. Changeup way out in front of it. Simmons, count to 0-2. Already you can tell Simmons more comfortable from the right side than he is from the left. First 2 at-bats, 2 hard-hit singles through the left side so far. 2 strikes that are called on him as an 0-2 pitch misses low and away. Count to 1-2. Simmons waggles the bat. 1-2 offering on the way. Swing and a miss. Change up on the inside. Gone swinging Cal Simmons. Back-to-back strikeouts for Ashton Parrott. That brings up Ty Moore.
And that's an important strikeout again because Simmons is 2 for 2 in this ball game. Already has a stolen base and a run scored off the Murray home run in the first inning. But this is nice to see because Ashton Parrott, for the most part, we only saw playing center field to start the season. He's coming in executing that changeup right out of the bullpen. It's keeping Mike Roberts happy, I'm sure.
Brings up Ty Moore, left fielder from UCLA. A pair of ground outs. Ground out to second. Back in the first and grounded out right to Travis Duke, the pitcher, in the second. First pitch, swing and a miss. Another changeup from Ashton Parrott. Moore way off of it, 0-1 the count.
Such a tough pitch to hit when it's executed properly because not only do you have to sit back and wait on it, but it comes out of the hand like a fastball.
0-1. Fastball misses low and away. Count even at 1-1.
And as said before, if it's kept low, the chances of the ball being elevated in any type of way to the gaps is highly unlikely.
Rice sets to the outside. 1-1 offering on the way. Fastball at 94. Hits the low outside paint. 1-2, 2 outs. Top of the fourth. Anglers have 3 runs on 6 hits. They've committed no errors. Kettleers have 1 run on 2 hits. They've also committed no errors. 1-2. Change up in the dirt. Count even at 2-2. Big gap out in right center field. Jackson Glines shifted 5 yards to the left of dead center. Infield back at all spots. Grant Kay standing on the outfield grass at second. 2-2 offering. Swing and a miss. Another changeup. Bam, bam, bam. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Anglers go down swinging. Ashton Parrott strikes out the side. We're through 3.5. Chatham still leads 3-1. Stay with us on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
We head to the bottom of the fourth. Jackson Glines leads it off for the Kettleers. He walked to lead off the second. Stole second, advanced to third, but was stranded there. First pitch on the way from Hillier. Fastball at the knees on the low outside corner, taken for strike one. Glines, the center fielder from the University of Michigan. Played 2 seasons at Fresno City College. 0-1, slider. Misses low and in on the left-handed hitting Glines. Count even at 1-1.
One of those guys that Mike Roberts praises. You know, a junior heading into his senior stint, or junior stint rather, but a guy Mike Roberts looks to because he's all about maturity. Himself, Grant Kay.
Slider misses low and in. 2-1 the count on Jackson Glines. Drew Jackson stands on deck, the Kettleers shortstop from Stanford. 2-1 offering, hit up the middle. Right off of the right thigh of Hillier. He recovers, fires to first in time to get the speedy Jackson Glines. Nice recovery by Jordan Hillier, and John Schiffner immediately comes out of the dugout, along with the Chatham Anglers trainer, to make sure that Hillier is okay.
Yeah, he pointed to his left wrist because when he turned, his whole body was basically facing center field. In one of those scenarios where Hillier's A, protecting himself, and B, assuming it's a base hit up the middle, as he turns around, it goes off his left wrist. He himself was shocked the ball stayed in front of him and had to play at first base, still able to make it, but off of his glove arm.
I was confused because he had his glove down by his thigh. So I had actually thought it had hit his thigh initially, but it was such a weird play because the ball deflected off a couple of parts of his body, but it must have hit the wrist first. Either way, he's okay. 1 out for Drew Jackson. First pitch on the way, slide piece, misses high and away. Count to 1-0 on Jackson. Drew grounded out to second base, back in the second. That moved Jackson Glines from second to third. Same pitch, I should say. Misses high and away. Count to 2-0. Anglers straight away at all spots. Line kick in the 2-0 on the way from Hillier. Ground ball hit to the third baseman. Butera picks it up, fires across. Murray squeezes it. Nice play, 5-3. Drew Jackson retired for the second time today via the ground out. Brings up Colin Shaw.
Now 5 of the last 7 retired in a row by Hillier. I mean, we talked about it with Johnny Wincott in Broadcaster's Corner today. This is a different-looking Chatham ball club. A lot more elusiveness, free and easy play. I mean, John Schiffner's always had that style, but you have to have the right players to do it.
First pitch bunt laid down by Colin Shaw. It rolls foul on the left side of the third base line. Butera, Mazika, and Hillier all charge. 0-1 the count on the Kettleer left fielder from Texas. Hook 'em horns, as they say, down in Austin. Austin, the state capital of Texas, and Colin Shaw is an Austin native. So he goes to school and is from Austin, Texas. 0-1 on the way. Fastball misses in. Count even at 1-1. We saw the same thing with Travis Mazes, the third baseman shortstop from Brewster. Goes to Michigan and is from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Line kick in the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Fastball high and away. Shaw goes fishing again. An outside pitch that's high. 1-2 the count.
Same pitch that he struck out on in his first at-bat back in the second inning. A high fastball up and away. They figured him out.
1-2. Chop fouled on the first base side. Count remains 1-2. Shaw's 0 for 7 in his first 7 at-bats here in the Cape League.
And although Hillier doesn't have quite the same sidearm release as most Kettleer pitchers do, the way he's able to release it throws Shaw off.
1-2 fastball. High and away. Count even at 2. 2's across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Alongside Brendan Glasheen, I'm Greg Moraz. Kick in the 2-2. Nubbed down the third base side in foul ground. Butera gives chase for it, but it falls quickly past the Kettleers dugout. Mike Roberts had to get out of the way of that one. Didn't matter. Ball wasn't going to be caught anyway. Kettleers home today. They'll travel to Arnie Allen Diamond for the first time all season to face the Falmouth Commodores tomorrow. 2-2. Slider misses outside. Count goes to full 3-2, although based on the weather forecast, severe thunderstorms expected all around the Cape tomorrow afternoon. So the status of that game, as of now, unless the forecast changes, is very much in question. 3-2, check swing, ring him up. Strike 3 called. Shaw down for the second time today. Hillier is retired. The last 5 that he's faced were through 4 at Lowell Park. Kettleers trail the Anglers 3-1. You're locked into Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable, Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13, Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts, It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
3, 4, and 5 come to the plate for the Anglers here on the top of the fifth. A 3-1 lead for Chatham over the Katuitt Kettleers here at Lowell Park. The first visit for Chatham to Katuitt. Ashton Parrott returns to the hill for his second full inning of relief. Works in the stretch, sets at the letters. First pitch fastball, grounded into the dirt, foul. Past Ian Rice to A.J. Murray. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket having a monster start to the season for Chatham. Already 2 for 2 today. A 2-run shot in the first inning to get Chatham on the board 2-0. 1-0 pitch. Fastball up the middle. Through for a base hit. Murray now 3 for 4. Check that, 3 for 3. Already 3 hits in the game. He's a triple shy of the cycle. A homer to start the game. A double in the third inning. And now a single to lead off the fifth. Here's Chris Shaw, the big left-handed hitter from Boston College. Parrott steps off to reset and get a new sign from Ian Rice. Infield at normal depth, outfield straight away for the Kettleers. First pitch fastball, a bit too outside, 1 ball, no strikes to Shaw. A lot of Massachusetts natives on John Schiffner's ball club. You have Shaw of Lexington, Massachusetts. And now Mike Roberts out to the mound, his head all the way down looking at the left field line towards the bullpen. And now there could be a pitching change at the moment. Arms still loosening in the pen for the Kettleers. Still no movement down. And we've got a left-hander coming in for Mike Roberts. We'll take the break as well. Kettleers still trail Chatham 3-1 here at Lowell Park. Pitching change presented by the Fuller family. Looks like Reagan Bazar coming into the ball game for Katuitt. We'll have more next right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt.
Pitching change at Lowell Park. In for Ashton Parrott. The count 1-0 remains to Chris Shaw, the new pitcher, Reagan Bazar. Bazar is 6'8", 250-pound right-hander from Louisiana Lafayette. Appears in his 5th game. So far in the season, 3 1/3 innings pitched, has allowed 8 hits, 6 runs, 4 of them earned. He's walked 3 and struck out 2. Murray at first, the 1-0 pitch, a fastball. Upstairs and outside, the count 2-0. Thank you for joining us today on the Kettleers Network of the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. A 3-1 lead for Chatham. Their first visit to Lowell Park this season. 2-0 pitch. Fastball, shot down the right field line, foul. The count, 2-1 to Chris Shaw. The big left-hander tonight flew to center in his first at-bat, walked and scored in the 3rd inning. The 3rd run to put Chatham ahead 3-1. Kettleers beat these guys back on June 16th in a doubleheader. Murray's off. The pitch. Outside pitch thrown out to second. Not in time by Rice. A stolen bag for Murray. Reagan Bazar, the tallest and biggest pitcher for the Kettleers out of the bullpen. Comes to the set at the letters. 3-1 to Shaw. Fastball popped up to right center field. A long run in right for Wiseman at the wall. It gets out of the ballpark. The ball kept carrying and carrying. Looked like a routine fly. Wiseman up against the fence. Had no play on it. A 2-run bomb for Chris Shaw. It's now 5-1 Chatham. Second 2-run homer of the ball game for the Anglers. Wiseman's trot towards right center lasted so long it didn't look like it had a chance to get out. Even Shaw out of the box slowly worked his way down the first base line. It does the job. Home run number 3 for Shaw on the season. First pitch fastball misses low and inside to Blake Butera. 1 ball, no strikes. Butera tonight, 2 for 2, a pair of singles. Bazar into the windup, 1-0 pitch. Fastball clocks in at the knees at 93. On the outside corner, 1-1. 8 hits, 5 runs for Chatham. Just 2 hits, 1 run for Katuitt. 1-1. Change up, low in the dirt, rolls to the backstop. It's a ball. 2-1. So Murray's run charged to Ashton Parrott. The Shaw home run also charged to Bazar. However, Parrott started the at-bat trailing in the count 1-0. I'm not exactly sure where that run would get charged to. 2-2 pitch to Butera. In the dirt, low and outside. Call down to first base line. Pat Burns says he's okay. 3 balls, 2 strikes on another Boston College Eagle, Butera. Chris Shaw now 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, 3-2. Did he go around? Yes, he did. The ball gets away from Rice. His throw to first just notches Hendricks' glove. 1 down. Ian Rice started his run towards the backstop, but didn't realize the ball actually was just a few steps behind home plate. Home plate umpire Matt Arcavo said he struck out, but Rice couldn't find the baseball. However, they get the job done, strike him out, throw down a first in time. Butera retired. It brings up Stetson's Pat Mazika. First pitch fastball, gassed inside and low. 1 ball, no strikes. Mazika 0 for 2, popped to Logan Taylor at third base, grounded to second base in the third inning. Bizarre into the lineup, the 1-0 offering. Changeup, drops in, knee high for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mazika. Tonight's catcher for Chatham starter Jordan Hillier. The 1-1. Fastball low, just notches the dirt. Mazika's ahead 2-1. Hillier tonight on the mound for Chatham. 4 innings pitched, has allowed the 2 hits, 1 run. He's walked 1 and struck out 2. The Kettleers, Bizarre, the third pitcher. 2-1, chopped on the ground towards first. Handled by Hendricks, tags the bag, 2 down. Still a great crowd on hand here at Lowell Park on both ends. Chatham fans are known to travel with their squad, so aren't the Kettleer fans, but lots of Kettleer fans remain in the Slotnick family grandstand down the left field line. 5-1 Chatham with 2 outs to the top of the 5th. Landon Lassiter of UNC, the batter, takes a fastball at 92 in the dirt. Now Ian Rice looks shaken up behind the plate. May have caught him somewhere below the face mask as he's down to 1 knee, still crouched behind home plate. Now the trainer for Katuitt comes out to speak with Ian Rice to make sure he's okay. The Kettleers scored their largest amount of runs in a game this season on Monday night. 16 to Bourne 6 at Doran Park. The day off yesterday around the entire Cape Cod Baseball League. Tonight, the Kettleers have only had 2 hits and 1 run to show against Chatham, a team they've beaten twice this year already. A doubleheader back on June 16th. A 4-0 win in Game 1, a 3-1 win in Game 2. Rice still being checked on. Count 1-0 to Lassiter. For Ian Rice, this would be awfully disappointing if this injury is serious because he swung a hot bat as of late, a 3-run shot at Doran Park on Monday. Mike Roberts now out of the dugout. Perhaps he goes with another catcher on the bench. Of course, he still has Casey Schroeder as well as Jamison Fisher. Fisher, however, the DH tonight. So that would alter some changes in the lineup. But looks like Rice is going to stay in the game. Home plate umpire Matt Arcavo wipes home plate. Gives Rice some extra time to regroup. The count 1-0 on Lassiter. Rice ready to go as Reagan Bizarre sets the glove in front of his face. He's into the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Fastball, clocked in at 90 in the outside corner. They count 1-1 to the right-handed hitter, Landon Lassiter. The Tar Heel, the DH tonight, 0 for 2. 1-1. Fastball again on the outside corner, knee high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Waves the bat around. He's back behind his shoulder. 1-2 from Bizarre. Change up, got him. In the dirt, tagged by Rice. Retires the side. Rice a bit banged up, but Kettleers out of the inning. A 2-run shot, though, for Chris Shaw. Heightens the lead for the Anglers. It's now 5-1. 4.5 played at Lowell Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable-Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Home half of the fifth inning at Lowell Park, a 5-1 deficit for the Kettleers to the Chatham Anglers, and now joining us on our broadcast, right-handed pitcher from Auburn, Trey Wingenter. Trey, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Well, we're doing okay. Now, you have been the man out of the pen as of late for head coach Mike Roberts. Your first outing a bit rough, but since that first stint against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on opening day, you've been a go-to guy. You've made some big outs in big situations for the Kettleers as the first pitch low and inside to Brendan Hendricks. The count 1-0. Jordan Hillier, the pitcher, back on for his fifth inning of work. Pitch outside 2-0. So what's that role been like for you out of the pen?
It's actually worked out well for me. It's something I actually haven't done much of in my time in college and before that, but it's been a good fit for me, and I've been able to have some pretty good success in that role.
Mashes it to center. On the run, Cray in center field to make the catch. Hendricks retired for the first out of the bottom of the fifth, and I'm sure that has to be a good feeling that since you haven't had many chances to come out of the bullpen to work out well early on is a good feeling. Now, out of Auburn, you pitched with some competition from some guys in Alabama as well. What's it been like, the transition to the Cape League?
I've really enjoyed it. It's good to get together with some of these guys that you've been playing against for years, a couple of years now, and you know that they're some of the better players on their respective teams, and it's good to team up with them and get their perspectives about their coaches and how their programs run and basically just how everything goes where they go to school.
1-0 hit over to the left side, in for a base hit. Jamison Fisher now 1 for 2 on the evening, a base hit to left field. Fisher on with one out.
So, Trey, you have a very intricate routine when you are warming up in the bullpen. Can you explain how that started? Because you stretch out a couple of times and almost looks as if you're trying to stretch your entire body. What goes behind that? Because you're a big guy, you're 6'7", and when you pitch, you use pretty much all of your body when you're in your motion.
Well, really, all I'm doing is just trying to get my legs fired up real quick because, coming out of the bullpen, you've been sitting down for a few innings, so you get a little stiff. So all I'm doing is just trying to get my legs going and getting everything loose, so I can get ready quick and get into the game.
First pitch to Rice, a fastball in the outside corner for a strike. Ian Rice a bit jammed up the previous half inning, but still okay. Bit of an injury after a pitch fouled off into him. An 0-1. This is inside. A changeup from Hillier. The count 1-1. Now, speaking of the changeup, that is something that Coach Roberts has preached. Did you enter this league with the changeup?
I did have a changeup, but it wasn't my go-to off-speed pitch like he obviously wants it to be.
And how about now? How's that working out for you?
It's actually worked out well. It's definitely a weapon when you got a changeup that you're confident in and you can throw in all counts, and it's something that hitters are not really looking for. When and when they're ahead in the count, they're looking to hit a fastball, and you can throw a changeup in there. It really messes with the hitter. So it's been very helpful to add a changeup to my arsenal.
Final question for you, Trey, before we bring Gabe on. Monday night, I should say, in Bourne, I saw a husband and wife with Auburn gear on. Were those your parents?
Those were my parents, yes.
And what's it been like having them here?
That's nice. They're loving it up here. They're kind of taking a vacation here. They're gonna be up here for a week, so I think they're really loving the Cape. And I don't know what's not to love about it. So
I like that attitude. What's not to love? You're up in the summertime, and it's got to be a little bit cooler up here than it is during Alabama in the summertime.
Oh yeah, it gets pretty brutal down at home, and humid, and this is a nice change of pace.
Jamison Fisher stole second base moments ago. He's at second with one out. Ian Rice still the batter. Now, real quick before we get Gabe on here, what'd you do for your off day yesterday?
Off day yesterday. I may have slept in past 12-ish. Spent time with my parents in Hyannis and went out on a boat for a little while, and so I've enjoyed the weather. Watched the soccer game that didn't turn out well, but that's about all I did. Pretty relaxed day. Enjoyed it.
3-2 pitch on the way to Ian Rice. Fisher stands at second with one out. Here it is. Rice takes it outside. Ball 4. Now first and second, one out. Well, Trey, thanks for coming on. First time up in the booth in the middle of a game. So far you're 1 for 1. Nice job.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys.
All right. Trey Wingenter, big righty out of Auburn, joining us here. And now a guy who's been on here before. He's a veteran on the air. It's Gabe Berman.
Hey, how you going?
We're doing good, Gabe. How about you?
Pretty good. I'd like to give a shout out to my teammate Trey, you guys just talking to. Real hard worker, great guy. I met him the first day we were here, and we just clicked. And he's my day one. I can say that, and I'm proud of it. I like to watch what he does and see what he does. Try to take a few things from him, and just real hard working kid. Good guy to have on a team.
Now that's really nice of you. Trey should have done something like that for you.
Oh, I don't care. He whether he says it or not, it's whatever.
It's implied.
Yeah.
It's implied.
Now, Gabe, you appeared in the game on Monday night at Bourne. No question, your best outing of the year. You had filthy stuff, strike 'em outs, all over the place. What was working for you Monday night?
Well, the difference between that outing and my outings earlier on in the season, those past outings, I was up in the zone, leaving the ball up over the plate. Wasn't really getting into my legs that much, and me and Coach Roberts worked quite often. And there was times I'd throw 2 or 3 bullpens a day. Really trying to work hard and make those adjustments, and really showed. And I was happy with my outing there.
5 strikeouts in 3 1/3 innings. Right now, the Kettleers bring Logan Taylor to the plate. Rice at first after a walk. Fisher at second after a single. Taylor ropes it down the left field line. Foul.
Now, there's an intricate little rule in baseball that I didn't know about, that if you're pitching on the winning team and you pitch 3 or more innings to finish the game, regardless of score, you get a save. What did that feel like to get your first save of the year in essentially a situation where, even though the lead was significant, Bourne was fighting back, but you just looked like you had it from the get-go. So what does it feel like to get a save in that situation?
It is what it is. It's not like I was out there, I got to get the save. To be honest with you, I didn't even know. I thought there was no way, we're up 10 runs, and I'm just out there, pitching, trying to secure the W for our club. But all in all, it was a good win to get. You saw the bats come alive, and really good for our ball club.
Count 0-2 on Taylor. Still first and second. A 5-1 lead for Chatham. Fastball gets away from Hillier. Evens the count, 2-2. Now, Gabe, I'm sure yesterday's outing, or Monday's outing rather, must have been a wake-up call for you, because you are a temporary guy. You're still fighting for a roster spot. I'm sure that outing made you feel a lot better, thinking that there's a good chance you can stick around for the entire summer. I'm sure that was going through your head a little bit.
I really don't try to think about that. I like to take it one day at a time. I'm a firm believer of, putting in the work, and good things will come. So, I really like to think, that's the key. So I just take it one day at a time, and that's the step.
Pitch in the dirt now, 2-2 to Taylor. Still one out. Fisher at second base. Rice at first.
Now, you go to Western Michigan, home of the Broncos, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, one of the greatest town names ever. I mean, you say Kalamazoo. Yeah. What's the best thing to do around Kalamazoo?
I'm not big on the old party scene, but there's some things to do when you're on a day off or something like that. Pretty much I go to a K-Wings hockey game. If you want to make a drive, obviously you can go to Detroit, the hometown. see a hockey game or a Tigers game. But there's some fun spots. Really good Mexican restaurant I've grown very fond of. Every time the parents come up, we go there. It's called Los Amigos, right on Stadium Drive as you're rolling into campus, right before the baseball field. But every time the parents come up, we hit that place up and we get down and dirty and some Mexican food.
I wrote that down because I have a buddy who lives in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
So next time
he
I'm there,
definitely knows about it.
I'm gonna have to ask him after the ball game.
Yeah.
Logan Taylor struck out the count 0-1 to Rhett Wiseman. Now, Gabe, I know the basketball team was in the NCAA tournament, and I go to Syracuse. How much of a shot did you think Western Michigan had beating Syracuse in basketball in the first round?
I'm gonna be a little embarrassed when I say this, but I'm not a big basketball guy. It's great for our school, great for our program. The guys on the bus trying to watch. I think we were going to Central Michigan maybe when that was going on. Yeah. But the guys were on the bus trying to get it on their phones, laptops, this and that, and I heard the scores and kind of got little updates from everyone.
Yeah.
Because I was the only one sitting in my seat not watching the game, but. It was good for our school, get on a national level. So
0-2 pitch to Wiseman, misses outside the count. 1-2, runners stay at first and second, Fisher at second, and Rice at first. Still 5-1 Chatham.
Now, final question for you, Gabe. You obviously had an off day yesterday, but what do you think is the number one thing to do here that most people don't know about?
Talking about in the Cape, like around.
Yeah,
around
because obviously you want to explore while you're up here. When you come up on an off day, you want to try things that you've never done before. So
I got a good one for you. The other day, I forgot which off day it was, but my parents have been down here recently, and yesterday was my mom's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Mom. Love you very much. She really wanted to go to Provincetown, and I heard there was quite the scene down there. And we made the drive down to Provincetown, and I will say it was quite the experience. A lot of nice shops, a lot of really nice people. You guys know what I mean, really nice people. And but all in all, it was fun. I definitely say you're coming down to Cape Cod, you got to go to Provincetown.
And now a meeting at the mound between shortstop Cal Simmons, along with Hillier and Mazika, the catcher. Now the home plate umpire out to talk and break up the conversation.
Back to, when you were asking me about, taking my outings, one day at a time on a temporary contract. Another thing, I was trying to think of it then, but it was kind of on the tip of my tongue, couldn't get it out. My coach at school always says, hard work guarantees nothing, but lack of it does. So that's another thing I like to buy into. If you're working hard, it's not going to guarantee that you'll stick around here, but if you're not doing anything, there's a good chance that you're going home. So
Wiseman swings into the mitt. Strike three, swinging to end the fifth. Well, Gabe, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it always when you come on the air. And also to Trey Wingenter again. A nice shout out.
Shout out to my boy T Time.
These guys were playing catch together on the first day they got down here.
You betcha.
So this bond is just really flourished into the second half of the year almost. But guys, thanks again for coming on, and look forward to it again, hopefully.
Thank you very much.
All right, Gabe Berman, Trey Wingenter joining us here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
The Cape Cod.
More action up next. 5-1 Chatham through 5 innings. Stick with us. Thanks, guys.
Baseball League celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
8, 9, and 1 due up against Reagan Bazaar. Landon Cray steps to the plate, the center fielder from Seattle U, and as Bazaar delivers this first pitch on the way to the left-handed hitting Cray, as the fastball misses low and away, it's time to answer our trivia question. If you remember, the question was, what NBA Hall of Famer played his college basketball at Seattle U? Cray hits it on the ground right to Brendan Hendricks. He runs, he tags the bag. Cray is retired. The answer, and we did not get any answer from any of our loyal followers, listeners, and viewers, is Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor was an 11-time All-Star. He was an 11-time All-NBA first-team player, an NBA Hall of Famer. He had 23,149 points in his career, a 27.4 points per game average. And he was the first overall pick in the 1958 NBA draft by the Minneapolis Lakers. First pitch on the way to Kevin Fagan, the second baseman from Stetson. Hits the outside corner, 0-1 the count. 0-1 pitch misses high. Changeup that got away from Bazaar, count even at 1-1. Elgin Baylor was also the GM of the Los Angeles Clippers, and there was a lot of controversy over his termination with Donald Sterling. 1-1 offering on the way. Changeup misses low and away to Fagan. 2-1 the count on the Chatham Angler, second baseman. 5-1, Anglers lead. Kettleers had a good spot back in the last half inning, but failed to do anything with it. Bazaar winds, kicks, and the 2-1. Fastball misses away, count to 3-1. He was also the coach of the New Orleans Jazz, who became the Utah Jazz, from 1976 to 1979. 3-1 offering on the way. Fastball misses outside. 1 out walk to Kevin Fagan, his second walk of the ball game. Turns the order over for Cal Simmons. And Mike Roberts has seen enough. And Reagan Bazaar's day is done. But we'll keep it here just for a moment. Elgin Baylor of Seattle U, the current coach of Seattle University, a great name. One of my favorite names in basketball. Cameron Dollar. Just a great name. Dollar was an assistant at Washington under Lorenzo Romar. But, I mean, you think about it, a school like Seattle University, which only recently returned to Division I college basketball as early as 5 years ago. There was a big article in Sports Illustrated which had to relate to Elgin Baylor. You don't see a whole lot of guys, especially on the Cape League level, from Seattle U. But just goes to show that a guy like Elgin Baylor, who's from Washington, D.C., ends up at Seattle U and becomes the first overall pick of what became the Los Angeles Lakers. I just find it a fascinating story.
Yeah, I mean, given the fact that you hear Seattle and you just say, well, come on. And the only thing we talk about in Seattle are Ichiro, Ken Griffey Jr. back in his prime days.
Now the Seahawks.
Seahawks with Richard Sherman.
Marshawn Lynch.
Louder, you know. And then you got a kid from Seattle in the game today, Landon Cray, Elgin Baylor. Great question, Greg. I mean, I'm disappointed people couldn't figure this one out.
New pitcher on for the Kettleers is Mason Klotz. We'll get you his numbers in a moment, friends. But Seattle U, and this goes to basketball in the city of Seattle. There are only 2 basketball teams that play in Seattle, University of Washington and Seattle U. And there's been a lot of controversy, a lot of talk over the Seattle Supersonics and the Sacramento Kings when they were bought, whether they moved to Seattle or whether when the Milwaukee Bucks were bought. And a personal opinion, I think it's a shame that the city of Seattle doesn't have any basketball. The Supersonics were a staple there for years, and Seattle U plays inside their arena. First pitch to Cal Simmons, cut on and missed. Fastball for Mason Klotz, 87, 0-1 the count on Simmons. Righty-lefty matchup. Klotz on the season for the Kettleers. Pick off to first. Back in safely. An 0-1 record with a 2.53 ERA. This his 7th appearance. 10 2/3 innings. 9 runs, but only 3 of them earned. But Key Arena occupied by Seattle U. Sets in the 0-1. Tailing fastball to the inside. Count even at 1-1. So there is your Kettleer broadcast booth trivia question of the game. And every time we got a good one, we'll try and give it out to you during the 3rd or 4th inning and answer it in the top of the 6th.
You know, real quick before this pitch.
1-1. Hit on the ground right to the second baseman. Grant Kay flips to second for 1. On to first in time. A double play. But go on what you were saying. We've got enough time.
I just wanted to quickly say that Gabe Berman there, that last comment he threw in about talking about his head coach saying, the hardest worker always pays off. I mean, that's something he didn't have to tell us on the air, and he mentioned it again. But I thought that was very touching. What Gabe had to say. What Gabe Berman had to mention there about playing on a temporary deal, and after that outing in Bourne, it looks like he might be a guy sticking around.
Stick around with us. We're through 5.5. Kettleers need some runs. And hopefully we'll bring them to you here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 6th coming up.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
Heart of the order due up for the Kettleers here in the bottom of the 6th inning against the new pitcher, right-hander from Louisville, number 17, Zach Birdie. As Grant Kay steps in, pair of groundouts to shortstop. First pitch on the way from the right-handed throwing Birdie, misses outside for ball 1.
From Louisville, this is his third appearance of the season, an inning and 2/3 pitch. He's allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 1.
1-0, sliced foul down the right field line. Murray gives chase, as does Shaw. Neither able to get to it. It falls in foul ground down the right field line. Count even at 1-1 on Kay. So Kay gets to face his college teammate here. Unique situation. Both of them Louisville Cardinals. On deck, Jackson Glines. Birdie winds, kicks in the 1-1. Fastball in the dirt at 94. 2-1 on Kay. Birdie from Downers Grove, Illinois, a suburb of the great city of Chicago. 2-1 offering on the way. Fastball misses low and away, count to 3-1. It's getting dark very quickly here at Lowell Park. Second consecutive game the Kettleers have played that has been very, very slow. 3-1, check at the knees. Home plate umpire, Matt Arcovio, calls a strike on Grant Kay. The count goes to full 3-2. Anglers back at all spots. Landon Cray shifted off to the right. High fly ball, deep right field. Shaw going back. He's at the fence, and he makes the catch as he brushes up against the chain link fence out in right field. A long, loud out. So in the battle of teammates, Birdie wins round 1.
Barely wins round 1. A shot to right field, and now the wind has died down here at Lowell Park. Chris Shaw and A.J. Murray, 2 home run hitters tonight for Chatham against the Kettleers pitching. They picked the right spots to hit the ball tonight.
First pitch on the way to Jackson Glines. Fastball right down Broadway. Taken for strike 1. In the top of the 7th inning, we'll have our first Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update of the ballgame. 0-1 offering. Glines loops it right to short. Simmons has to field it on a hop. Fires across just in time to get Jackson Glines. That was a weird sequence. The ball came off the bat like it was going to be an easy atom ball flyout. And Simmons thought it was going to come right to him, but it dove very hard on its descent, and Simmons had to charge hard. He didn't get to it on the fly, picked it up on a hop. And a quick transition. Shout out to Cal Simmons for what has been a fantastic game defensively at shortstop. First pitch, Drew Jackson skies it out of play to the right side. 0-1 the count on the Kettleers shortstop from Stanford.
You know, you always need a guy like that defensively to set the tone, and we talked about it before today's game, that this Chatham team has looked completely different since losing that doubleheader to these Kettleers.
Slider misses just low, count even at 1-1 to Drew Jackson. It's a team that's been re-energized. 1-1 on the way. Jackson hits it high and deep to left center field. On his horse, Landon Cray at the wall, makes the catch in deep left center field. 2 long, loud outs for the Kettleers, but it's a 1-2-3 inning. We'll head to the 7th. Cape Cod, or Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update coming up at the top of the inning. You're locked into Kettleers baseball here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable, Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
The The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Mason Klotz out for his first full inning of work. He came in relief of Reagan Bazar and got an inning-ending double play from Cal Simmons back in the sixth. Ty Moore steps to the plate. He's 0 for 3. 2 groundouts and a strikeout. And before this pitch is delivered, it's time for our first Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update. With that and more, here's Brendan. First pitch on the way is a breaking ball at the belt, taken for strike one.
At Stony Brook Elementary in Brewster, the Whitecaps hold a 6-4 lead on the Wareham Gatemen in the top of the sixth. Top of the second, Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth. The Commodores trail 5-0 to the YD Red Sox.
0-1 slider misses low and in, count even at 1-1. On Ty Moore, the left fielder from UCLA. 5-1 Chatham here in the top of the seventh. Klotz stares in. Long stare for the sign. Time called. Moore steps out.
And 2 more games that are just about to get underway at Eldridge Park. Hyannis at Orleans, still scoreless, and White House Field, Bourne at Harwich.
1-1, hit on the ground. Kay picks it up glove side at second base, flips to first to easily retire Ty Moore. Moore now 0 for 4. But a guy they don't want to go 4 for 4, stepping up to the plate. And A.J. Murray is a triple away from the cycle. He homered in the first, that drove in 2, doubled in the third, and singled back in the fifth. He scored 2 runs, has 2 RBIs, and is 3 for 3. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch on the way from Mason Klotz. Breaking ball, outside corner, called strike one.
You know, that game between Bourne and Harwich, earlier this week, or earlier last week, you told me that game, that'd be something to see.
0-1 hits A.J. Murray on the left calf, but he's okay. He trots down to first. So a hit by pitch puts A.J. Murray on for the 4th time tonight. Brings up Chris Shaw, who has left the yard on a home run when Rhett Wiseman kept going back on it, and that ball looked like it was going to stay in the yard, but the jet stream has been playing tricks with the baseballs over the past couple of games for the Kettleers. It played tricks on Wiseman, just sailed over the fence in right field. First pitch misses high and away. Count to 1-0 on Shaw. I don't think either you or I, Brendan, thought that ball was anywhere close to being gone.
No way. It was so high in the air that, again, the jet stream helped it get out of the ballpark.
1-0 fastball misses inside 2-0. And I didn't give you a chance to finish your Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update. You're previewing a matchup of the 2 top teams in each division.
Yeah, Bourne at Harwich. I mean, based on what the Braves have done recently.
Shaw hits it on a line to center field, glinds back on it, makes the catch. A long, loud out for Shaw. 2 gone for Blake Butera.
Just going to say that matchup maybe a week and a half ago looks more sexy on paper, but now, I mean, Bourne struggled. They just allowed 16 runs to the Kettleers on Monday. That pitching staff, Ryan Kellogg, their best guy, just got knocked around. What their confidence is like, but Harwich, I still think the clear-cut favorites as the best team in this league.
Brings up Blake Butera. Butera 2 for 3. Pair of singles. First pitch fastball. Misses inside for ball 1. Darkness definitely a factor. 2+ so far in this game. If it gets past another hour, this game may have to be called. 1-0, fastball misses low and away, count to 2-0. Kettleers did have one game here last year. Can't remember which one it was. It was an extra inning ball game. Called due to darkness. They also had a game at Brewster called due to darkness last season. 2-0. Fastball misses away. 3-0 count on Blake Butera, the third baseman from Boston College. On deck, Landon Lassiter. Klotz sets at the belt, gets the sign, delivers the 3-0. Fastball well inside, ball 4. Runners at first and second with 2 outs for Patrick Mazika. And Mike Roberts walking out to the mound. Roberts with his patented jog when he just wants to talk with a pitcher. He'll make the full slow walk when he's making a pitching change, but he'll walk about halfway between the dugout and the third base line. He'll hop, skip, and then start jogging.
That'd be an interesting feature to do. The art of Mike Roberts leaving the dugout to the pitcher's mound. What's his approach like? What's going through his head?
I think that story might last about a paragraph. Because, I mean, people just have routines because they have routines. They don't really think about them. There was, and I heard this from Richard Carthon, a former Kettleer, that Rick Jones, the former coach at Tulane, had a superstition. One year, back in 2001, the Tulane Green Wave won their regional in Houston and went on to the College World Series. They stayed at a hotel, the Intercontinental in Houston, and every time that Tulane has made a trip there, since then, as Patrick Mazika stands in, he stayed in the same room, in the same hotel. First pitch, fastball, misses high and away to Patrick Mazika. Mazika from Stetson, over 3, he's reached on a fielder's choice.
Wow. Wonder if he hid some money and up in the roof or something. There must be some sort of reason he keeps going back.
1-0 at the knees, taken for strike 1, count even at 1. Well, like I said, they stayed there 1 year. The team made the College World Series. They go back every year to face either Rice or Houston. So, makes sense. 1-0, curveball misses high and in, count to 2-1. It's very superstitious, but people have routines, and that's the great thing about the game of baseball. It's a superstitious game. People wear, they'll wear their hat to one side, they'll rub a certain amount of dirt,
shave.
2-1, changeup misses low and away. Brian Wilson of the San Francisco Giants in 2010 said he wasn't shaving until the Giants lost. They won the World Series, and he hasn't shaved since. 3-1. Fastball misses low. Ball 4. Bases loaded. 2 outs for Landon Lassiter.
And who knows now what's growing in that beard? It could be an animal. It could be a child. Who knows?
It's really gotten awful. As much as I used to love watching Brian Wilson, buddy, come on. It's the beard. It's time to go. The glory days are over. Landon Lassiter steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Had a sacrifice fly. Back in the third. First pitch misses high and away for ball 1.
Hey, whatever gets the job done, right? I mean, now pitching for the Dodgers as a setup man. That team has a shot to win the NL West.
1-0. Misses inside. 2-0 the count on Lassiter. That was not a team, though, that early in the season people thought was going to win. The Giants were running away with it, and San Francisco was falling back to earth. And nothing would please Brian Wilson more than to beat his former team. 2-0 on the way. Hit foul into the dugout. 2-1. Foul to the third base dugout. Mike Roberts retrieves the baseball, and he's looking down to the bullpen. He's walking down to the bullpen to see what arms are going to get up. This is a very odd scene. Mike Roberts just walking down the line. 2-1. Curveball taken for a strike. Counting even at 2-2. 2 across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 7th. Anglers have the bases loaded. 5 runs and 8 hits. They've committed no errors. 1 run on 3 hits for the Kettleers. 2-2 offering on the way. Hit hard to right field. Going toward the line, Rhett Wiseman, about 10 feet in front of the foul pole, makes the catch to retire the side. Mason Klotz loads the bases, but that fly ball caught by Rhett Wiseman unloads him. Stretch time here at Lowell Park. Kettleers trail by 4. They need 4 to keep this a ball game. Stay with us on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today,
6, 7, and 8 due up for the Kettleers against Zach Birdie. Jeremy Taylor pinch hitting for Colin Shaw, the outfielder from East Tennessee State. Taylor's playing time has gone down significantly over the course of the end of June. First pitch from Birdie misses outside, ball 1. Taylor hitting at 192, 5 hits in 26 at-bats. Does have 2 doubles and 3 RBIs. 1-0. Best ball. Check swing, late appeal from home plate umpire Matt Arcovio. Evens the count at 1-1. Righty-lefty matchup. Birdie winds, kicks, delivers. Taylor skies it deep to center field. Cray at the fence and makes the catch. Taylor hit a ball that didn't look like it was hit that hard off the crack of the bat, but kept carrying. And now Mike Roberts is getting into a spat with Matt Arcovio. What, I don't know. Can't really figure out what that was. I mean, that was just a fly out
Beats me.
to center field.
Yeah.
Either way, Brendan Hendricks steps up to the plate. Hendricks 0 for 1. He got hit by a pitch and flew out to center field. First pitch misses outside. Fastball 95. This is the first time, really, that Brendan Hendricks has been in the lineup where he hasn't gotten a hit in a while. Hits it hard down the first base line on the 1-0. Count even at 1-1. It seems like every time Brendan Hendricks is in the lineup, he hits the ball hard, and he gets at least one hit, maybe two in a ball game. Big gap out in right center field. Landon Cray shifted 10 yards to the left of dead center field. Infield is back. 1-1. Hit through the right side. A base hit. Brendan Hendricks proves me wrong. He's reached base twice. That is first hit. Brings up Jamison Fisher.
Typical Brendan Hendricks finds the right side of the field, an opening on the right side between first and second. Gets on base, and really the Kettleers have not had a threat to score since first and second in the fifth inning. The final inning of Jordan Hillier's evening, but so far against Zach Birdie, they've really hit the ball hard.
First pitch, fastball fouled back to the screen. 0-1 the count on Jamison Fisher, the DH catcher from Southeast Louisiana. Fisher on the day flew out to left on a great play by Ty Moore, extended full body out on the ground, saved a run. 0-1, breaking ball misses outside, count even at 1-1. Fisher also singled to left field back in the fifth. So he's 1 for 2, could have potentially been 2 for 2. Had Moore not made a spectacular play on a looping fly ball. Breaking ball on the 1-1. Catches the low outside corner. Count to 1-2. Murray holds on. Brendan Hendricks at first. Fagan and Simmons double play depth. Birdie in the stretch. Time called. Jamison Fisher steps out. Ian Rice, the catcher from Chipola Junior College, stands on deck. 1-2 on the way. Fisher skies it to left. Easy play for Ty Moore. Settles under it, makes the catch. Came in 2 steps from his right. 2 outs for Ian Rice. Rice has reached both times today. Doubled and scored the Kettleers' only run back in the third. And walked back in the fifth. Rice looks down to Mike Roberts, who coaching third is almost equivalent to the outfield. So he's way back at third base. Slightly open stance at the plate for Rice. First pitch, changeup, misses high for ball 1. Make sure you join us tomorrow, friends. Game pending due to weather, though. 6 o'clock from Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth. Kettleers warm-up hits the air at 5:40. As the Kettleers, as that pitch is high for ball 2. Kettleers and Commodores meet for the first time this season. Then they'll square off again here on July 4th at Lowell Park the next day. 2-0, fastball, misses low, count to 3-0.
The only opponent the Kettleers have yet to face this season. They've faced every other team. Falmouth, the only one they have not caught up against.
3-0, hit hard to left field. On the run, Ty Moore makes the catch, drifting towards the left field corner. Ian Rice has hit the ball hard, but to no avail there. Kettleers strand 1. We're through 7 at Lowell Park. Brendan Glasheen will take you home. Kettleers trail 5-1. Here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable, Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Kentuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
We're back at Lowell Park, a 5-1 deficit for the Kettleers against the Chatham Anglers. New pitcher on for Mason Klotz, Luke Leftwich, who appeared in Monday night's game at Bourne.
Leftwich, Monday night starter, only lasted an inning and a third. He gave up 3 hits, 3 walks, 4 runs, all of them earned. Struck out 1. He's got a season ERA of 8.22, and warming up before Ian Rice got back, because he was the last hitter, it wasn't Casey Schroeder, the Kettleers' backup catcher, and it wasn't Jamison Fisher, the DH. It was Mike Roberts.
Now, Mike Roberts had just the Scully on his head. He had 2 hands behind the glove in a halfway crouched position. Now, I know kids, my dad was a coach in Little League. I think that was something that only happened in Little League or in Senior League ball until you were 15, that the dad or the coach of your team at that age level would come out and catch to warm you up. I have never seen that before at this level of baseball, where a coach is out to warm you up as a pitcher. Interesting. 8-9-1 to bat for Chatham. Landon Cray of Seattle. First pitch hits home plate umpire Matt Arcovio. He's stung up a bit on the right wrist. To pitch inside to Landon Cray. The count 1-0. Arcovio seems all right. 8 hits, 5 runs for Chatham. 4 runs, 1 hit for the Kettleers. Leftwich's 1-0 pitch. Fastball misses low, 2-0.
He's also all right now that you got his last name correct.
Yes, thank you, Greg. 2-0 from Leftwich. Fastball again. Low in the zone and outside. 3-0.
That's not me trying to be mean. It's a hard name to pronounce.
Arcovio. 3-0 pitch from Leftwich. Fastball high, just above the belt, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk by Luke Leftwich out of the pen. Logan Taylor over to give his pitcher of Wofford College some encouragement. Runner at first, nobody out. A 4-run lead for Chatham. Kevin Fagan now the batter. Fagan 0 for 1, has walked twice and struck out swinging in the 4th. Leftwich to the set, at the belt. Fagan squares, now pulls back, but takes a strike on the outside corner. He gasps in surprise. It's a strike, 0-1. Logan Taylor has shifted up just beyond the third base bag at the lip of the grass. Outfield straightaway, the rest of the defense straightaway as well, except Hendricks holding on the runner at first. Squaring again, pulls back. Fagan squaring back, brings the count to 1-1. You heard Greg say it moments ago. Tomorrow night, we're at Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth. A 6:30 start between the Commodores and Kettleers. First time all year. 1-1, Fagan squares again. Pulls back, a fastball outside. Rice out of the crouch, returns the baseball to Leftwich, 2-1.
Although the forecast just I mean, I hate to be teasing a game that won't happen, but just warning listeners that based on the forecast for tomorrow, there's a good chance that tomorrow's game does not happen.
2-1. Fagan squares again. Pops it up to the left side. Just in front of some fans, in front of the snack shack, and to the left of the newly built grandstands here at Lowell Park. A break for Leftwich, 2-2. The forecast does not look good. You're right, Greg. I mean, there's storms coming from Florida, some storms coming from the Midwest. We might have 2 straight games canceled. So the Falmouth Commodores and Cotuit Kettleers matchup may get delayed for even longer. Leftwich checks in at first. Of course, by that I mean these two teams play a home-and-home series back-to-back every 4th of July. Last year the Kettleers were at Arnie Allen Diamond for the 4th. This year Lowell Park hosts the 4th of July game. Leftwich holds at the belt, the 2-2. Fastball struck into the fence in front of us, foul. We'll do the 2-2 again.
Although unlike this year, last year the Kettleers and Commodores had already faced each other before the 4th of July.
Scheduling very interesting. You've already played every Eastern Division team, but have yet to face one of your biggest rivals in the Western Division. Leftwich checks over again at first.
It's weird, though, because the season last year for the Kettleers ended with a home-and-home with the Commodores, and then they immediately faced each other for a 3-game series in the playoffs.
Leftwich, another check at first. Kevin Fagan of Stetson, the batter, with Cray at first base. Nobody out. 5-1. Chatham leads over Cotuit. Leftwich to the set again at the letters. 2-2 from the righty. Upstairs again, outside. The count full. We're in the 8th inning here at Lowell Park. Darkness has now become a factor. It's 7:30 here at Lowell Park. We've yet to have a game this season called due to darkness. The Wofford College righty to the set again. Leftwich, the payoff pitch to Fagan. Fastball upstairs away, ball 4. He appeared just 2 days ago at Doran Park in Bourne. He's now walked back-to-back batters to start the top of the 8th.
Mike Roberts coming out to have a talk with him. Nobody losing in the bullpen. That time he didn't jog out. Although John Schiffner jogs out of the dugout. John Schiffner is not either one of the 2 base coaches, but having a discussion with Cal Simmons. And Schiff, the longest tenured manager in the Cape League, was a high school math teacher for many a year, just retired last year. He's living in Harwich full time, from what I can understand, from what I've been told by my sources.
Meeting at the mound ends with Roberts and Leftwich. John Schiffner enters year number 22, I believe, in the Cape Cod Baseball League as a manager. Led the Anglers to the best record in the Cape League last year. The Anglers took the Eastern Division without much problem, but were defeated by the Orleans Firebirds in the semifinals. First and second on back-to-back walks by Leftwich. Another square around. No bunt laid down this time, though, by Cal Simmons. Pitch outside, the count 1-0. Simmons today, 2 for 4. A pair of singles, struck out in the 4th, grounded into a double play in the 6th. Scored on A.J. Murray's first inning homer. Leftwich to the set again. Ratledge in to pitch. Fastball up and away. The count 2-1. 2-0.
Luke Leftwich in an inning of the 3rd against Bourne walked 3 guys. He hasn't recorded an out here yet. He's already walked 2 guys and hasn't even gotten to 2 strikes on a single hitter.
Cray's at first. Fagan's at second. Pitch. Change up outside. 3-0.
I don't get why, if you're Cal Simmons, why you're showing bunt against a guy who's thrown 1 strike in the entire inning.
Perhaps a sign that's been given or a distraction. Who knows? 3-0 the count on Simmons. Leftwich tries to put one over, the 3-0. Fastball taken for a strike, a put-me-over pitch on the outside corner to the left-handed hitter from Kennesaw State. His teammate, Jordan Hillier, went the first 5 innings tonight for Chatham. Was masterful once again. Third straight 5-inning appearance in which he's in line for his 3rd win of the year. If the score holds 5-1, 3-1 pitch. Too far and inside, it hits him. Rice walks slowly to retrieve the baseball behind home plate. And now there's a discussion at the pitcher's mound between Pat Burns and Matt, the home plate umpire.
You're not even going to try.
I can't.
One substitution of note that we didn't give to you earlier, Jeremy Taylor, who pinch hit for Colin Shaw back in the last half inning, remains in the game in left field.
So the bases are now loaded. Arcovio. I've been having so much trouble with that name. I apologize. Cray's down to third. Fagan's at second. Simmons at first. Arcovio's discussion with Pat Burns ends. They agree it was a hit by pitch. So Simmons at first base. Back-to-back walks, a hit by pitch. And now the bases loaded with no one out for Ty Moore. 0 for 4 in the ball game. Leftwich into the windup. The entire infield in for the Kettleers. A first pitch change up gets away from Leftwich once again. It's 1-0. 8 hits, 5 runs for Chatham. There could be more coming. For the Kettleers, 4 hits, 1 run. The entire infield in, outfield straight away. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball cuts inside, but too low, 2-0. There is an action in the bullpen for Katuitt. Now it has stopped. There was an arm moving prior to. It must be an arm that's ready. As my partner Greg moves his arm in a sarcastic way. 2-0 pitch. Fastball dribbled out in front of home plate. No foul call. Leftwich flips to the plate in time. There might have been some confusion because it looked like it hit Moore. But home plate umpire Matt Arcovio did not signal any ruling. So the Kettleers able to keep a run from scoring. Score it 1-2.
John Schiffner is a calm enough guy that in a 5-1 game where it's starting to get dark in the top of the 8th inning, that he's not going to argue a call like that. But, I mean, based on our view, that was a foul ball. That hit off of home plate.
Bases loaded again, this time for the A's hottest hitter, A.J. Murray. First pitch to him. A fastball down the dish at 89 for a strike. The count 0-1. Murray today, a home run in the first inning, a 2-run blast, a double in the third, singled and scored in the 5th, was hit by a pitch in the 7th. Bases chucked full of Chatham A's. Leftwich into the windup, the 0-1. High above the head of Murray. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is a guy up where Chatham could really blow this game open. Leftwich, a look over towards third base. Gets his sign, the 1-1. Fastball clips him off the belt. Another hit by pitch. In to score Fagan. It's now 6-1 Chatham.
Luke Leftwich just has lost complete command of the strike zone, or he never really had it to begin with, and this may be his bullpen session in a game where the Kettleers have already used a lot of arms. I'm looking down the roster.
First pitch breaking ball drops in for a strike on the outside corner to the big left-handed hitter from Boston College. Chris Shaw looks like actually a pinch hitter for Chatham. It's Jake Fraley. Pitch outside, 1-1. So Shaw's day's done. Fraley of Louisiana State hitting .289 on the year. No homers, 2 runs batted in. A slight open stance. The left-handed hitter awaits a 1-1 from Leftwich. The bases remain loaded with 1 out. Shot towards short. Picked up by Jackson. Throws home in time to retire Simmons. Another big out. The Kettleers trying to keep this lead where it is right now. So bases loaded again. Fraley able to run it out towards first base. Moore at third, Murray at second, Shaw, or rather Fraley at first base. The batter, Blake Butera.
That was some split second decision making by Drew Jackson to fire it from that deep in the hole home.
Could have got the force at second, but realizes this is a game where you have to prevent the damage. First pitch breaking ball outside of Butera. Far and wide, the count 1-0. Butera today, 2 for 3. Singled in the first, singled in the third, struck out swinging in the fifth, walked and reached second base in the seventh. 1-0 from Leftwich. Fastball, too far and inside, just below the knees. 2 balls, no strikes. The Kettleers scored 16 runs on Monday. A game in which the Bats cranked. Tonight, just 4 hits, 1 run, 2-0. Fastball popped to the right side, out of play. This team is on the verge of dropping to 9-10. And what it seems like is one night you have a team that has a lot of fight, the pitching works, the offense is there, and then the next night it's just the opposite. 2-1. The fastball low, and I don't want to put it on the entire pitching staff, Greg, but it seems like this team rides as the pitching staff rides. However, look at Monday night's game. Luke Leftwich started. This team was in a hole, but then again, the Kettleers offense scored 5 runs in the second inning. Chopped over towards third. Taylor back on it. Holds, throws to first to end the inning. Just 2 runs come in in what looked like a dangerous half inning. Check that, 1 run comes in. So 6-1, Chatham will go to the home half of the 8th here at Lowell Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
Welcome back to Lowell Park, home half of the 8th inning. A 6-1 Chatham lead on Cotuit. Top of the order bats for the Kettleers, Taylor, Wiseman, and Kay. The batters set to bat in the home half. First pitch swinging and missing by Logan Taylor, the count 0-1. Taylor tonight, 1 for 3, grounded to short in the first, singled in the third, struck out swinging in the fifth. Taylor cocks the bat behind his right shoulder. Awaits the 0-1. Here it is. Fastball cuts across home plate for a strike at 84. The count 0-2. Birdie has pitched well, but a lot of hard hit balls against him. I mean, look at some of these outs. We'll get to them in a moment. 0-2 pitch on the way to Taylor. Strikes it to the right. Works its way out of play into the trees. I mean, Ian Rice, a shot to left field. He's retired. Jamison Fisher flew out to left. Jeremy Taylor hit a hard hit ball to center field that was caught. Even going back into the 6th inning. 0-2. Fastball too far and outside. Taylor doesn't chase. 1-2. Weather permitting, the Kettleers are in action tomorrow once again. 1-2. Taylor takes it low at 94. 2-2. They will be at Arnie Allen Diamond to take on the Falmouth Commodores for the first time this season. 2-2 pitch. Fastball again, struck into the chain link fence in front of us. We'll do the 2-2 pitch once more.
Then Kettleers home against Falmouth on Friday, and then another trip to Spillane Field on Sunday to face the Wareham Gatemen, the last place Wareham Gatemen, who have beaten the Kettleers twice already this year.
2-2. The fastball, sliced to the right out of play. Taylor really battling in this at bat. 2-2. This is only a 5-run game. I mean, you only have 6 outs to play with if you're Katuitt. But 2 runs, or 1 run rather, allowed the previous half inning with the bases loaded, nobody out. Consider it a game that probably should be a blowout, but Chatham came up short last half. 6-1 the score. The 2-2 pitch misses outside, 3-2.
But you look at the way that the environment is now, it may not get to a point where the Kettleers have a chance to tie it.
Payoff pitch, fastball, hit to deep right, now in on it, Sean right, it falls for a hit. Farley is now the right fielder. He comes in and lets the ball drop in front, a base hit for Taylor to start the 8th inning for Katuitt.
The line starts there. The Kettleers only their 5th hit, but as I was trying to say, 7:45 here at Lowell Park, and it's getting seemingly darker. I'd estimate there's about a half hour left of light. Maybe a smidge more.
The batter, Rhett Wiseman, 0 for 3 today. Takes a fastball, high and away. The count, 1-0 to Wiseman. It's been a slow start for Rhett. 2 for his first 9 coming into tonight. So now 2 for 12 to start the season. Fastball, chop foul out of play. The count, 1-1. For a kid that just won the national championship with the Vanderbilt Commodores from Mansfield, Massachusetts. Greg, you informed me the other day his dad is at every Kettleers game to watch his son play. 1-1. Taylor's off. It's sliced up the middle into center field, a base hit. Taylor holds it second. 3rd hit of the season for Wiseman. First hit tonight. Now first and second. Nobody out.
And Rhett's one of the hardest workers. I had a chance to stop by the ballpark on my way back from work earlier today, and Kettleers were scheduled to hit at 12:30, and Rhett was here at 11:50.
Now John Schiffner out to speak with Birdie. Now these last 2 hits allowed by Birdie actually haven't been hit that hard, but in previous at-bats, there have been some shots hammered. New pitcher coming in for Schiffner. This pitching change is brought to you by the Fuller family. We'll take the break as well. First and second, nobody out. Bottom of the 8th, the Kettleers threatening. They're trailing 6-1 against the Chatham Anglers right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Kentuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
New pitcher in for Zach Birdie, Lou Dislasio.
Distasio on the season, a 1-1 record. This his 6th appearance. A 2.89 ERA, 9 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, 3 walks and 4 strikeouts.
It's bottom of the 8th at Lowell Park, first and second. Darkness, though, playing a factor. A 6-1 lead for Chatham. Taylor at second, Wiseman at first. Grant Kay the batter. First pitch, a fastball at 89, tails inside. The count 1-0. Grant Kay 0 for 3. 2 groundouts to short in the first and third innings. Flew to right in the 6th. Distasio, a long stare into home plate. Gets his sign from Mazika. A look at Taylor at second, the 1-0. Fastball, swung on and missed. Pumps the glove at 90. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Kettleers could make some noise in this inning. Suppose Kay finds a gap. Glines on deck, who's 0 for 2 tonight. You never know. Still nobody out. 1-1. Outside double steal. Thrown on the third. Taylor gone. Mike Roberts holds his hands up looking at Logan. And now 1 out. Up to second base, Wiseman.
I'm sorry, but that's not smart. You're down by 5. You need every base runner that you can get. You have no outs and a pitcher that has already come in and thrown 2 balls. Why are you doing that? That's not necessary.
Not sure if it was Roberts' sign or Taylor's own gut to steal. Didn't work. Now there's 1 out, a runner at second. Pitch to Grant. Hammer to left, a base hit over the glove of Simmons. Roberts waves Wiseman. He trots in and scores. An RBI single for Grant Kay. It's now 6-2.
Could have been more. That's what I got to say. Cal Simmons made a great play to leap. He almost timed his leap correctly, but just goes over his glove, and a manageable game still.
You wonder now if Taylor had not broke for third base, he probably scores, and then Wiseman probably advances a base himself. Now 1 out, Kay at first, Glines the batter. First pitch, a changeup that catches the outside corner to the big left-handed hitter from Michigan. Jackson Glines hitting over 400 to start the year coming into tonight's ball game. 8 for his first 19 with Brewster prior to signing with Kentuit. 0-1. Another curveball misses outside. The count, 1 ball, 1 strike. 8 hits, 6 runs for Chatham. 7 hits, 2 runs for the Kettleers. As you said, Greg, still a manageable game, but 9 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour here at Lowell Park. Darkness plays a factor, no question. The 1-1. Glines takes the fastball at the knees for a strike. 1-2. Drew Jackson on deck. Tonight he's 0 for 3. Distasio to the set. 1-2 offering. Hammer to right. A deep shot. Does it have a chance? It goes foul. Tailed big time to the right. Jackson all over that pitch. Count stays 1-2.
He's frustrated himself. He knew he got a good pitch to hit, and he knew he pulled it a little bit too early.
Glines again, 0 for 2. Walked in the second. Ground outs in the fourth and sixth innings. Tastasio looks in for his sign from Mazika. The 1-2. Fastball hit the other way. Into left, to base hit. Goes by Butera's glove. K to second. Glines it first. Another hit for the Kettleers, fourth of the inning. First and second, one out for Drew Jackson.
That one almost looked to be in and out of Butera's glove. It's ruled a hit. But either way, now you have the tying run on deck in the form of Jeremy Taylor. And Drew Jackson, who's been swinging a much better bat of late, 0 for 3 on the day, but still one big hit. This is a new ball game.
Both teams with 8 hits. Now Chatham's pitching coach out to talk with Tastasio. 7:53 as you're joined by myself, Brendan Glasheen, alongside Greg Mraz. At Lowell Park, the Kettleers fighting to the nail against these Anglers, a team they've already beat twice this year, 3-0 and 4-1. Both games in a doubleheader, respectively, at Veterans Field in Chatham. And now home plate umpire Mark Arcovio.
You got it.
Out to speak with the huddle over.
No, you didn't get it. His name's Matt Arcovio.
I said Mark.
And thus, the attempt to get the home plate umpire's name for Mr. Glasheen will extend another inning.
I know Drew Jackson's name. He's the batter. First and second, one out. The meeting at the mound ends. Tastasio to the set. First pitch to Jackson. A fastball too far inside. Perhaps a bit low. The count 1-0. Jackson tonight grounded to second in the second inning, grounded to third in the fourth, and flew to center in the sixth. Short leads by Kay and Glines off first and second base, respectively. Tastasio a look towards second base. The 1-0. Jackson looks at a fastball on the outside corner. Count even, 1-1. You said it, Greg. He's swinging a hot bat. Entered today, hitting .333 in his last 5 games. The 0 for 3 tonight doesn't show that. A look towards K at second again. Now he bluffs towards him. The 1-1 yet to come. Jeremy Taylor sits on deck. Has one at bat tonight. Flew to center in the 7th inning. Tastasio's pitch. Jackson skies it down the right field line. Murray and Fairley giving it a chase. It falls down. An extra life for Jackson. It's 1-2.
That ball, though, Fairley could have had that ball. Fraley, excuse me. Could have had that ball if Murray hadn't come on for that, because Murray was a distraction going back on that ball. Where it was hit, Murray had no chance to get it. But if Fraley was on it from the start and had called off Murray, he may have had a chance to make that play.
First and second. Kay at second base. Glines at first with 1 out. Drew Jackson the batter. A 6-2 deficit for the Kettleers. The tying run on deck in Jeremy Taylor. Tastasio's 1-2. Fastball grounded down the third baseline. Foul. Butera picks it up at the backhand. We'll do the 1-2 once again. The Chatham Anglers, since losing that doubleheader June 16th at Veterans Field to these Kettleers, are 7-4-1. They started the year 1-5. The defending Eastern Division champions were knocked out early in the postseason last year. John Schiffner's squad looks to be back. A big spot, though, now for Tastasio. To the set, the 1-2 to Jackson. Fastball chopped up the middle, picked up at the second baseman. Fagan tags the back throw to the shortstop. Simmons, his throw to first. Not in time, but the runner at second retired. Glines heads back to the dugout. K down to third. So it's first and third with 2 outs for Jeremy Taylor.
That was a very interesting sequence because Simmons and Fagan both dove for that. Eventually, Simmons gets it, has a tough time getting up, tags the bag just in time, but he almost had it in time to get Drew Jackson out at first.
He's been sound defensively, somehow was able to get up, get the flip from Fagan, and have a shot at first base. Now first and third, 2 outs for Taylor. Here's the pitch. Fastball hit towards second base. Fagan picks it up. Clean flip to the shortstop covering Simmons to end the half inning. 8 in the books at Lowell Park. Just 1 run in for the Kettleers. We'll go to the 9th. 6-2 Chatham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's
Top of the 9th inning at Lowell Park, a 6-2 lead for the Chatham Anglers. Luke Leftwich returns to the hill. Another inning of relief, a mop-up situation for Mike Roberts because the bullpen, as of right now, remains dormant. Leftwich holds the glove at the letters into the windup. First pitch, outside to Pat Mazika, the Stetson catcher. Ahead in the count, 1-0. Stetson today, 0 for 3. Walked his last at bat in the 7th inning. 1-0 misses low. You know, you go back to that last half inning, Greg. I mean, Logan Taylor leads off the inning with a single, then Rhett Wiseman singles to make it first and second, then a double steal. Taylor retired at third. That really was the blunder to end any hope to a big inning as the pitch misses outside. 3-0 now.
But now, not only that, but Luke Leftwich is off to another not-so-good start here to start the 9th.
3-0 pitch. Called a strike. A long, small trout towards first base by Mazika. The count, 3-1. And again, the darkness definitely playing a factor. It's now 8 o'clock exactly here at Lowell Park. 3-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Leftwich pumps the glove to make it a full count, 3-2. Payoff pitch. Fastball shot to the left by the Snack Shack, out of play. Greg, you said only one game last year at Lowell Park was called due to darkness. This game on the verge of having that same result if the pace keeps up like this. 3-2. Shot to the left side, through. A base hit. Mazika on with his first hit of the night. Third time he's reached base.
You look at the list of pitchers in the bullpen, and you could throw Jeff Kinley possibly, but he's your closer. It has already been announced that Vincent Fiore, who had a stellar outing against Hyannis back on Friday, will be the starter tomorrow.
First pitch changeup hits the outside corner to Landon Lassiter. The count 0-1. Leftwich, the fifth pitcher Mike Roberts has used. Pitch sky to the right side. A play possibly for Hendricks. No, it goes out of play. I'll tell you right now, Kettleer fans, on Thursday, if we indeed are on the air, or maybe we can figure it out now, I would like to know how many games the Kettleers have had this year in which Mike Roberts has used at least 5 pitchers.
We'll use our powers of deduction and give you that answer tomorrow.
0-2, fastball called, strike 3. 1 out in the ninth. I just find it astounding. You have to use 5 arms to get through a 9-inning game. I mean, it's not like these guys are coming in for a special lefty-lefty combination. I mean, first pitch, breaking ball on the outside corner to Landon Cray. Count, no balls, 1 strikes.
No starting pitcher has gone more than 5 innings this year, and only 3 starters in 3 starts have gone at least 5 innings.
And 1 not even here anymore. Sam Tavis, Logan James, and Vincent Fiore. Fiore and James still on the roster. They're set to go back-to-back, it seems like, in that Falmouth Commodores doubleheader, or home and home. Count 1-1. Greg said Fiore in line to start tomorrow. Friday, Logan James potentially here at Lowell Park. 1-1 pitch. Runners off. Up in the air, it goes foul. Off the snack shack. The kids run for it. Count 1-2.
The thing you do have to remember, though, is that Trey Wingenter and Nick Eichholz, who have been exclusively out of the bullpen this year, both started this season at their respective universities.
Pitch rolls in the dirt. The count, 3-2. And we had Trey Wingenter up in the booth earlier. And from what he said, he seems pretty fine with what his role has been. 2-2 pitch. Shot to the left side. Leftwich is going to let Taylor get it. Throw to first in time. Taylor, a nice barehanded play on the slow roller to get the second out at the top of the ninth.
But back to what you're saying about the pitching, though. You can't keep having games where you're pulling guys after 2 innings, 3 innings, because it kills your bullpen. I mean, you have to go out there, if you're Mike Roberts, in my opinion, and tell some of these guys that you are going to pitch at least 5 innings today. And if he has a bad outing, then he'll go 4, maybe 3 innings. Because the bullpen is just getting taxed.
First pitch breaking ball to Kevin Fagan. Lands in the zone for a strike. 0-1. Yeah, I mean, I agree completely when it comes to something like that, because down the road, late July, early August, and you're in a playoff hunt, you want to have those arms available. 1-1 as the pitch misses inside. And not only that, but tomorrow marks the deadline in which, or am I wrong? Isn't there some sort of deadline?
Tomorrow is the roster number deadline.
1-1, shot to the left, out of play.
Rosters have to be set at 28 guys by tomorrow. Any temps that basically reach over that 28 limit are automatically cut. Well, not all temps, but the temps who are just that, well, you know what I'm trying to say.
1-2. In the dirt, it gets off the mask of Rice. Now Leftwich covers home. Rice retrieves it. Runner down to third base.
And for the Kettleers, their roster currently stands at 28, but one last guy, Trace Barrera, one last contract guy yet to get here. So the pitchers, as Bailey Clark was released today, as Travis Duke was activated, the pitchers seem to be safe.
2-2. Lifted to the left side again. Lands foul beyond the bathrooms.
We also received word that Logan Ratledge, a 2013 Kettleer who started the season with Bourne, went home due to an injury. He's feeling healthy, and he's back up on his way to Lowell Park.
2-2, high and outside. Rice out of the crouch, a full count now. Yeah, we talked with Logan after our first trip to Doran Park, and you talked with him. He said he was going home, which he did, but he seems to be healthy, ready to come back. 3-2, a fastball upstairs, ball 4. Another walk for Leftwich. Many fans have already left the ballpark.
3 walks, 2 hit by pitches for Leftwich in 1 2/3 innings.
Cal Simmons, the batter, first and third with 2 outs. Leftwich to the set at the belt. Fastball outside. The count 1-0. So the pitchers are safe, but as we've discussed, they need to go deeper into games because this will come back and hurt them. 1-0, a breaking ball, cuts over the zone. 1-1.
As much as you want to be able to play tomorrow, and even though he had an off day yesterday, a rain out tomorrow may not necessarily be a horrible thing for the pitching staff.
Another strike from Leftwich. 1 strike away from sending the Kettleers back to the dugout to hopefully snag 4 runs to tie this game. But again, darkness a factor. It's 8 past the hour at Lowell Park. 1-2, chop to the right side. Hendricks to the dive, can't knock it down. Picked up by the second baseman. The throw goes wide. Now Rice has to pick up the ball. No one's covering home just yet. K's throw wide. It's been a clean game defensively. No errors for either squad, and now they give the error to K. Tough call because Hendricks went to the dive. It went off his glove. It slowed the ball down significantly.
And more than anything else, the bad throw plates another run.
7-2 Chatham. Fagan down to third. Mazika scores. Simmons at first. Now Rice lets the runner go down to second base. Second and third, 2 outs. .0 coming from Leftwich. Another high pitch and outside. And I don't even know if this comes down to a fatigue type of thing. More or less now it seems like a focus point. 2-0 pitch. There's the breaking ball. Notches the outside corner, knee high. 2-1.
And we praised the hitters for what they did against Bourne, but again, 3 consecutive games of giving up 6 or more runs.
2-1 pitch, dribble down the first base line, foul.
We had a good stretch for a while, or they, I should say. We're not actually on the team, where they gave up 1 run against Harwich and 2 runs against Hyannis. So that was 3 runs in 2 games, but now they've given up.
Strike 3 called. Moore down on strikes to finally end this half inning. Last hope for the Kettleers. We'll go to the home half of the night. 7-2 Chatham. A 5-run lead for the A's. Stick with us for a possible comeback. They need it quickly because the darkness is coming. Right here.
Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th.
The ball game has come to a close due to darkness. Mike Roberts out to talk with home plate umpire Mark Arcacchio, and the game has...
You gotta get it right once. Restart.
The game has been decided due to darkness after conversation with the umpire crew. Final score, a 7-2 victory for for the Chatham Anglers over the Katuitt Kettleers. The Anglers have won their first game against the Anglers for the first time this season.
And Mike Roberts right now is getting into it with the whole umpiring crew, and Brian Scott and Brian Bambanek, and now the umpires are leaving the field, and this is just an ugly end as Mike Roberts is following the umpires out.
Well, that ended interesting because Coach Roberts had some words for the umpiring crew, shakes hands with the coaching staff of Chatham.
You know, I can understand why Coach Roberts is upset because you still can see, and the rule is supposed to be that if you start an inning, you are supposed to complete the inning under the darkness rule. So if that's the case, the ninth inning never should have started in the first place. They should have called the game after 8, and that would have been it. So I understand why Mike Roberts, well, the situation is a loss in either scenario because by the time it would have taken the Kettleers to score 5 runs to potentially tie the ball game, we would have been actually in major darkness, and nobody would have been able to see unless you used glow-in-the-dark paint on the baseballs and the bats. Yeah, that sounds funny, but that's actually how dark it probably would have gotten. So, I mean, today was, you got to flush this one. You know, such positive signs after the Bourne game, and it all goes out the window. You know, I was trying to calculate that stat before we went to break. 19 runs allowed by Kettleer pitching from the game at Wareham at Spillane Field to today.
Also, one thing that was going for the Kettleers was the 2-out hitting. 12 2-out RBIs in the last 2 games. Even though they lost to Wareham, they did defeat Bourne in a big way. They looked flat against the Anglers again. Chatham defeats the Kettleers for the first time this season. The 2 wins for the Katuitt were back on June 16th in a doubleheader at Veterans Field. We'll come back and wrap up quickly. It's the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show coming up right now.
It's time for the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. With a wrap on tonight's ball game, here's Brendan Glasheen and Greg Moraz.
Tough one to swallow at Lowell Park. 8:15 here. And the game called due to darkness after 8.5 played. Greg Moraz, Brendan Glasheen wrapping things up quickly here at Lowell Park. Greg, you just said it moments ago. You got to flush this one in the tank. A 7-2 loss to Chatham. A couple of home runs tonight. A.J. Murray, Chris Shaw, 2 two-run shots. The final score 7-2. Really quick, as we said, this game ended in a sour way because starting pitching didn't have it, and nor did the rest of the bullpen.
It was a game in which nothing was really right from the get-go. Travis Duke was having trouble locating. He grooves an inside fastball to A.J. Murray, who sends it a mile. And then the game is somewhat manageable. A run scored by Chatham in the third that made it 3-0. The Kettleers got one back. You know, and you look at the opportunity that they had back in the third. They got 2 guys on and couldn't do anything with it. And now they did get a run, on the 4-6-3 double play. The Kettleers had runners at the corners. But, you know, Brendan, I look at this as there's no consistency. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. The Hyannis and Harwich games that occurred this past week were 2 of the best baseball games that this team has played pretty much all season. And then you go out to Spillane Field in Wareham, you get up 5-2, you lay a duck, and then Monday against the Bourne Braves was phenomenal. Probably some of the best baseball that the Kettleers have played. And then immediately you come right back and this happens. A game in which the pitching wasn't there, the hitting certainly wasn't there, and the defense, it didn't really make a whole lot of difference, but you go into a home-and-home with Falmouth, then you go back to Spillane to face a Wareham team that has really become the bugaboo for this Kettleers team in the sense that Wareham has 6 total wins on the season. 2 of them took it to it. So, I mean, something's got to change because it's inconsistent, completely inconsistent from one day to the next. And sometimes, even if consistency is bad, like a bad consistency, at least you can tell what the trends are. At this moment, and I'm not sure how you feel, I can't figure this team out.
I can't either. Right now, they're 9-10, almost halfway through the year. Coach Roberts discussing matters with his team in left field. Again, the final score here at Lowell Park, 7-2. The Kettleers dropped the Chatham Anglers for the first time this season. Really quickly, before we give a small preview of Falmouth, Greg Moraz takes us around the league for an out-of-town Coca-Cola scoreboard update. Again, want to just recall, if we are broadcasting tomorrow at Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth, game time is at 6:30. Our broadcast starts at 6:10 for Kettleers warm-up. We'll be at Arnie Allen Diamond. It is going to be bad weather tomorrow. Might not have a game, but Greg, take us home. What's going on around the rest of the league?
Brewster bringing out the whooping sticks late against the Wareham Gatemen. They win 12-5 out at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. Bottom of the 7th at Arnie Allen Diamond, where we could potentially be going tomorrow. YD up 8-0 on Falmouth. So Falmouth, that could be a team that's coming in on a fairly sour note. Top of the 5th out at White House Field in Harwich. Bourne leading Harwich 5-2. And top of the 5th at Eldridge Park in Orleans. Firebirds have jumped out to a 7-0 lead on the Hyannis Harborhawks. And Brendan, tomorrow, Falmouth, a team we haven't seen yet this year. A team that, like the Kettleers, has been fairly inconsistent. Some days they look great. Some days they don't. The most returners from last year to this year of any team in the league. So, does lightning strike twice for a team that had a murderer's row lineup last year? 3-6 of Reese Hoskins, Casey Gillespie, Dylan Davis, and Kevin Crone that hit the ball out of the yard every night.
We'll have to tune in tomorrow night, 6:10, Kettleers warm-up. First pitch, 6:30 at Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth. For my broadcast partner, Greg Moraz, I'm Brendan Glasheen. One last time, the final score here at Lowell Park. The Cotuit Kettleers drop to the Chatham Anglers 7-2. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, weather permitting, in Falmouth. Good night from Lowell Park.
Thanks for tuning in to the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Tonight's broadcast has been brought to you by Chatham Bars Inn, the Fuller Family Foundation, Curry College, iHealth Services, Cape Cod Healthcare, Coca-Cola, 99 Restaurants, Friendly's Ice Cream, Rockland Trust, Reebok, and the Baseball Factory. For more Cotuit Kettleers coverage, visit kettleers.org.